Hello, and welcome to episode 24 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And hello.
Hello.
How is everyone? How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Very
I
good.
am triple packed right now
Oh,
with my
baby.
drinks.
She's a drinks goblin.
It's just who I am. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have to have a different cup for every single drink I have.
Well,
I mean, naturally.
yeah, unless you want unless you want cream soda, a cup of tea,
and Vimto.
all in one drink.
Yes, but I also like to have multiple beverages on the go, depending on what I fancy, you know? So we have an array. We have a smorgasbord
And
of
I have
drinks.
My one drink.
The same drink you always have.
No, I switch it up. Today I've got cloudy lemonade though.
Yeah.
I do like cloudy lemonade.
You do.
It's the cloudy lemonade from Co-op as well, because I feel like that one's the best one.
Agreed.
I've tried it from Tesco and it's not very good.
A cloudy lemonade. No, don't.
Cloudy what,
like
sorry,
that. No.
What was that? What was that, Margaret?
No, don't.
Cloudy lemonade.
I think I just said cloudly nade.
Cloudily nade.
Cloudly nade.
Cloudily nade.
Oh yes, as the orange juice, as the cloudy lemonade kind of. I don't know why I continue.
I don't know why we're doing the podcast.
Oh, I don't know. So, yes, hello.
Hello.
Is there anything you would like to update the people on?
We succeeded in getting our Raider IO score
We
on
did.
World of Warcraft
We
up.
finally got Keystone Hero.
So when you do Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft, you get a score for like however you do. You can like do a certain Mythic Plus level, and then you can do it so fast that you can get like a +1, a +2, a +3.
Yeah.
So all of like the better you do, the faster you do, the more pluses you get, and then basically the higher key level you get, the more score you get.
Yeah.
So we aim for every season to get
Keystone Hero.
Keystone Hero, which is
Yeah.
like the highest achievement that you can get, and we got it.
We got it finally. Like we could go above it because there is obviously higher scores than that, but we don't play with a regular group.
Yeah, it's really, really, really hard to get Keystone Hero whilst pugging a group.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually nearly impossible.
Yeah, and if you don't know what pugging means, it means oh no, what does it mean?
Isn't it?
Public pugging pub. You're looking away. You're looking at the dog.
I just looked at the dog's tail.
I can't remember. But basically, it means playing with a random group of people. Yeah.
Playing with a pug. So it's like a. We
literally talked about it the other day. Anyway, that's irrelevant.
That is irrelevant.
But
we got the score.
We got the
achievement.
We did.
We're very happy.
So we're done
for this season in terms of pushing content,
yes.
like high level content.
Yes, I think I'm interested in doing like a little bit more. But we're looking at alts right now.
Yeah, because Margaret's played a hunter this entire patch, and the survivability hasn't been there.
It's terrible.
So I think we're going to have a few more options for next season in case it's still really bad.
Indeed.
And I just sort of play whatever.
Yeah. You
I don't mind.
I'm the type of person where I'm like this with everything in my life, where I have to fully research and understand something before I can do it. So I like to be kitted out for every eventuality. So I can't just enjoy like the learning and the then and now.
That's the most exciting bit for me.
Yeah,
I can't. It's like when I create a D&D character.
Yeah.
I do all that research into the background, like how it works and how the subclasses work and stuff like that. And that's like really excited. So it's the same with like classes in WoW. They all work differently.
Yeah.
Like very differently. So I like to just like get into the bones of it and figure out.
I do not. I don't like change.
That's what excites me.
I'm not good with change. But yes, we got our Keystone Hero finally. I'm trying to think of what else has happened in our personal life. We played D&D yesterday. Yeah. Because if you don't know, we record these on a Thursday. We learnt a lot in our session last night.
Yeah, you had a lot of law.
We learnt a lot. My brain didn't turn on fully. Yeah. To be honest. I am not very tactical at the best of times, and I certainly was not tactical last night.
Well, that's okay.
So
doesn't matter.
It happens.
Mine was beating herself up about a mistake she made in combat, and
it happens.
It came to absolutely nothing, so it didn't matter.
I know, but I'm sure you guys know what it's like when you haven't fully grasped a situation, and then you assume a situation, and then you make moves in combat pertaining to that
based on those assumptions.
And it turns out you're totally wrong. But you know what?
Doesn't matter though.
I know. I would tell anyone. in my position, you don't need to worry about it. Yeah. Like, no one cared.
Literally nothing to worry about.
I know, but because it's me, I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
Such an idiot. How could I do this?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no one cares.
Yeah. So, if you're feeling the same, we're not idiots.
No.
Well, we are. We are, but we're not idiots like that.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah,
everyone,
indeed.
You can read a situation wrong.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Indeed. I don't think there's really genuinely much else.
It's only been like 2 hours since
it has. I feel like we recapped on a lot of stuff in last episode as well.
We always do on the Monday one.
Yeah, because we just say everything.
Yeah, we say everything because that's what's happened.
Yeah. We are further forward with our merch designs.
It's true, we are.
I don't know how much we have publicly said about it. I know last episode we said, yes, we're working on some merch. I don't know how public we've been about what is actually coming out, but I want you to know that by the time you're seeing this, we have got designs. We have sent them off to the manufacturer to take a look at. I think we're probably going to be in the stage of waiting for samples to come back in.
Yeah.
Because we're doing it slightly differently to how we run our store. If you don't know, we have a small Etsy business where we sell loads of D&D stuff.
We'll link it in the description. You can buy t-shirts there.
Yeah, we make our own t-shirts, but we're kind of limited to what we can actually print because of the equipment we have.
Yeah.
We're going to outsource it because it will just simply be too hard for us to attain what we want to attain.
And also with us already running a few businesses out of our own home.
Yeah.
We already have a lot of stock in our house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
we have a lot of stock in our house.
The last thing we need is more stock in the house. So we decided to just outsource
it.
So somebody else can take care of the stock.
Indeed. But there's more complications with that because obviously, we can attest to the quality of the products that we sell because we hand make them and we know them. We're going to have to do some testing to see exactly what the quality is going to be like.
From somebody else making it.
Yeah, because we obviously want to give you the best quality we possibly can. So it's coming.
It's coming.
It's on the horizon.
Do you want to tell the people what we're doing?
We're actively working on it. So we are... As of right now, again, things could totally change.
Yeah.
As of right now, we are going to be releasing a long sleeve.
Yeah.
We're going to be releasing a T-shirt with the same front print
that's
on the long sleeve.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be releasing a T-shirt with the typical Eldritch Podblast.
The nice and simple, the classic, the design.
Yeah, loads of people have asked if they could have something literally just with the logo on it, which thank you very much, by the way.
Yeah, Margaret designed it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very sweet that you want that. So, yeah. And
also anything in our shop.
Oh, yes.
Margaret designs all of that as well. I have nothing to do with the designing element.
Yeah, you do all the making,
I make the stuff.
You're the grunt in the...
Yeah, I'm the peon.
Yeah, you're the peon. Yeah. And I'm the creative mind who can't be managed.
Yes.
Simply
it's very, very difficult to manage a creative person.
Yes, it is. So... They're coming, they're on the way, and we're also going to be releasing some sticker packs, which we may or may not be making ourselves. I haven't decided that yet.
But they're coming.
They're coming, promise. As soon as they're out, you'll know. Still working on the Discord, I'm assuming, because we're very slow. But once again, a Discord is definitely coming for everyone. I promise. And, some other stuff, but that's the topic for another time.
For a later date.
Me reckons. So...
What are we doing today?
Today, my friends.
Doing something different again.
We're doing something different again. We have been watching. We watch a lot of World of Warcraft content, and we watch. We watch loads of YouTube, and something that we've noticed is really popular is tier rankings.
Yeah, tier lists.
And we thought it would be really fun to tier rank all of our D&D characters that we've played.
Characters.
So
every character that we've created. Yeah. Some haven't reached completion in campaigns.
Yeah. But, a lot of them haven't. To be fair,
what we're ranking is that's a lot. To be fair, that's the case with a lot of D&D.
Yeah.
Not every
you will know. So
get it.
We also haven't included one-shot ones because
they didn't have backstories.
Yeah, exactly. So how we are going to categorize each character ranking.
Yes.
So it is going to go from S tier all the way down to D tier.
Yeah.
We have 3 criteria we're going to be ranking on.
Yes, we do.
The criteria are as follows. Their build.
So like race and class and subclass.
Yep.
And sort of how good that subclass is, how good that race is, and how it all just mixes.
Yeah, and how much we enjoyed it as well.
And how much we enjoyed playing it.
Yep. Number 2, it is going to be their backstory.
So the thing is with this, because not every character reaches completion, we're going to rate the backstory that we gave the character.
Yeah.
Because, sort of like what we thought of how good of a job we did at the beginning and everything that came before that point, before they started their adventure, everything before that point, that's what we're ranking.
And of course, UDM has a lot to do.
Yeah.
With at least how we play has a lot to do with how your backstory plays out and how you change in its shape.
Yes,
so
yes.
it would be unfair for characters that have gone all the way through to be compared on the same ranking that characters hadn't.
Yes.
And then finally, the third ranking.
Margaret's most important ranking.
Their appearance.
Their sexiness.
How do they look? How do you rank them in terms of what their appearance was?
So that's what we're about to do.
That's what we're about to do. So because I obviously make everyone as sexy as I humanly can, Jack put in a rule that we're not allowed to have two characters in the same...
So we can. So the whole thing is, like, I'm going to be honest about mine. Because the appearance doesn't matter quite as much to me as it does to you.
Yeah.
You're going to rank all of your appearances S. Mm-hmm. And then, other things will fall below that.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of yours are good to be up
I
there.
know.
So
I know.
If Margaret can rank them honestly.
Yeah.
And she can make a case to me.
Yeah. I will. I can.
That they deserve to be where they are.
Yeah.
I will allow there to be more than 2 in 1.
Yep.
But otherwise, everyone's just going to put them in S.
I know. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But yes, I'm going to have to double park, not triple park. I'm going to have to double park a character because I have 6, you have 5.
Yeah.
Naturally, if you don't know, Jack is our forever DM.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have as many characters as I do.
I don't, that's correct.
And we thought it would be nice for you to be able to kind of,
I make characters too.
Yeah, share your characters. Yeah. Share what you got going on.
Yeah.
So without any further ado.
Give us a second. We're just going to get it up on screen and I'm going to move slightly.
We'll be right back. Hello, we are back. Jack didn't move in the end.
Nope.
We took a look. We realised you can't really see what's going on.
Not really.
But you can see that there's clear tiers.
There's S, A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then here's all of our characters.
All the characters across the bottom.
Margaret has like sexy artwork for hers. Mm-hmm. And then all of mine are just hero forges.
Yeah, well, such is life.
You've got one hero forge in there.
I do have one hero forge in there. So we will... When we actually rank them, I'll put something up on the screen.
When we talk about each character, we'll throw up the artwork so you can see what they look like. We'll tell you about the backstory and the build, and then we'll chuck them into a category. Yeah, and then we'll show you the list at the end.
We'll sort something out.
This isn't the point.
Yeah.
This is the point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll sort something out.
All right.
Okay. So, without any further ado.
So I know you said that I'm going first.
Yes.
But if we did it like this instead, where you go first and then you go last,
we'll end equally, won't we?
Because then we'll do the thing where you go in between each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I get you. Okay. Yeah. So I'll go first then.
So you can go first.
Yeah. So how we're doing it is we are just going chronologically through.
Yes.
With our characters. So start with the first and with the last.
The first one that you ever made, and then to the most recent one.
And with the last.
Okay.
Okay, so
the first one, we're just going to bring it up here and put it into B, so it's in...
B is the only category you can't see because of the mic.
We'll bring it up to S tier for now.
Yeah,
so that is...
she will stay. So the
first...
Spoilers. The first character is my character, Beloved.
Yes.
She is a tiefling, so she went by a tiefling name, but her full name is Maya Caro, but... For, I would say, 99.9% of the campaign, she went by Beloved.
Beloved.
And that is how we colloquially... Oh, no.
That is what we call her.
That's what we call her.
Yeah, that's what we call her.
That's what we call her, friends.
That's what all of our characters referred to her as in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, she's my very first character ever.
Yeah.
And... her build her race was a tiefling.
Yes.
Her class was barbarian.
Yes.
And her subclass was berserker.
Yes.
So,
give me the thoughts on the build.
So, straight off the bat, pairing tiefling with barbarian.
Yeah.
With the rules as written, because
at this point we played rules as written.
Yeah, which for our very first campaign was probably a good thing for us.
Yeah, probably the right idea.
Yeah, we played rules as written,
simple.
And we played standard array.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how much you guys know about what goes into different races and classes. I'm going to assume you know the basics, but we'll talk through it. A tiefling is not built to be a barbarian.
Not really.
Let me tell you, a tiefling has proficiencies in charisma, and I don't know what the other one is.
They get +2 in charisma, and I'm pretty sure the other one is dexterity.
Potentially. Yeah, I think it was dexterity. So immediately straight off the bat, pairing tiefling with barbarian wasn't great.
No.
My highest score
for getting a decent build, I would agree. And because now if we were playing this, we would just say you're a tiefling, like the way the rules is written, not the rules is written, the way that we play now. You can play a tiefling. Yeah. Looks like that. Yeah. You get to. You
can choose your proficiencies.
You get to do Hellish Rebuke because that's something that they do. Yeah. And then you get resistance to fire damage if you are a specific, if you're a red tiefling.
And you get to cast Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, and things like that. So you get those like cool bits. Yeah. And then what you would do is you would say, I'm a barbarian. I'll have strength and con. 2 in strength, 1 in con. Yes. Something like that.
Yeah. So
but that's not how we played it at the beginning.
That's not how we played it at the beginning. And again, I can't begrudge that because playing that way as beginners was good for us to understand the situation. Had I really understood at the time how important stats were, especially when I was the only melee, I wish I knew that information at the time because I probably would have built it different.
Yes.
But again, to you, it might not matter. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? To some people, that doesn't matter at all. It ended up mattering to me. I think barbarians got off strength and con. I think by the end of the campaign, we were at level, 14? Although I did multi-class.
You did multi-class into fighter at the end.
I did multi-class into fighter. My strength score ended up being 15, I think, was the highest I had. So it was pretty rough.
For a level 14 character, have your primary stats still 15?
It was pretty rough.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah. So
you took Sentinel.
I took Sentinel.
So that's what, instead of doing the ASI, you took Sentinel. Yep. What did you take for your second one?
Can't remember.
But you did take Sentinel, which was great.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, I have Sentinel now as my druid barbarian. Love Sentinel. But again, I was the only melee and there was only 3 players, so I didn't get to use it very often.
So where would you rank the build?
Well, Berserker Barbarian as well. I would like to say love a Berserker Barbarian.
I think it's probably my favourite.
Yeah,
I know it's not the strongest. And to some people, I think it needs a little bit of DM love.
Totally.
I think it needs a little bit of a... Maybe it's not...
A little bit of finessing here and there.
Yeah, I think maybe you don't get a point of exhaustion every time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's every other time.
The way exhaustion worked, this is prior to 1D&D, and 1D&D still isn't out. The way exhaustion worked was it was really punishing.
Yeah, it's very punishing.
I couldn't ever have more than, even then, 3 points of exhaustion was the very most I ever got to, because that's disadvantage on attacks.
Yeah, I think maybe if it was like... You could Berserker Rage once every long or short rest, and then if you did it after that, then you began to get in the points of exhaustion.
Yeah, or if you use the new 1D&D exhaustion rules, it's far less punishing. Yeah. It's still punishing, but not as much, and rightly so, because when you berserk, you get an extra attack, you get extra damage, it's a whole thing, it's a whole ordeal. And you know what, at the time, my DM said to me, like, when it came for me to choose a subclass, he was like, what would you prefer? What would you have more fun doing? Yeah. Because I was tossing up between Berserker and Totem Barbarian. And I was like, listen, Berserker. And he was like, there's your answer. Do it. And I loved playing a Berserker Barbarian.
Yeah, I think Berserker Barbarian, like the theme of a barbarian, like that's what I think of.
Yeah. I think it was punishing? Yes.
It is punishing.
Do I wish that there was something set up at the time so it wasn't as punishing? Yes. But it was our first campaign.
It was our first campaign.
What do you expect? So, build. I'm going to put build in D tier.
The build is D tier.
The build is D tier.
I would agree.
Yeah, the Berserker Barbarian, I would say, is S tier, but I would say...
I think the theme of the Berserker Barbarian is S tier.
Yeah, like being able to...
The build of it isn't great. I think it's too punishing.
Yes, totally.
I think there needs to be like one free use before you begin to gain or something like that.
Yes, but, going Tiefling Barbarian, D tier.
Yeah, D tier. Yeah, I agree. Backstory.
So, on to the second tier, backstory. So, I went through and I wrote out a little bit of backstory. Yeah, I did include that she also went 3 points into Battlemaster Fighter.
She did.
Which as a side note, worked perfectly.
Yeah.
That really gave me the freedom of what I wanted and what I needed.
Yeah.
Pairing the action surge and the second wind and what you get with the Battlemaster worked perfectly with the Berserker Barbarian.
Maybe on a dungeon crawl, you could do a lot of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And then save the Berserk for later, in the boss fights, maybe. Yeah.
But that still doesn't take away from the fact that the build was D tier.
Yeah.
So, her backstory. I went and I wrote out a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'll just go. I'll spitball a little bit.
Just go with it.
So, Beloved, again, because my first character, I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Yes.
I didn't really write her a backstory. Mm-hmm. It kind of progressed as we went along.
Yeah.
So I have very brief information here. And I think Beloved was more as she was going, the development.
Yes.
But the general backstory is, so she's a tiefling. There's an infernal legacy in there where somewhere in her bloodline there had been mixings with the devil or a demon or something like that. And I played it so her whole family, her whole bloodline since had really struggled with her bloodlust. They saw blood, they would lose it, they couldn't control it, they would hurt the things and or people around them. Her mother had died when she was young, so it was just her and her father. She was his main carer because he was always quite sick as she was growing up. As he got older and the sicker he became, he basically didn't want to live anymore.
Yes.
He was like, it would be better for me and for you if you would just let me die, basically. And she obviously didn't want that. She couldn't deal with that. She comes home one day. He has forced her hand. He has drawn blood. And what happens. She ends up eating him.
Yeah, so the small bit of information that you've missed out there is the blood is what makes you rage.
Yeah, the blood is... how I themed it was, the blood is what makes me rage.
Yeah, she draws a bit of blood, that's how she rages.
Yeah.
So she came home...
It was like a primal bloodlust. She saw it, and that demon inside of her couldn't help it, and the demon wanted the blood, and that's why she would rage. So yeah, she ate him. Basically, she killed him and ate him.
Yeah.
After that, she was obviously... really fucked up.
Yeah, very, very upset.
She left. She ended up falling in with the wrong people. She joined a gang, which, that's as edgy as it's going to be for the
100%.
Your first character. And in that organization, they ended up using her as like the muscle. She was like the dog on a leash. If something needed to be done, they would send her in.
Someone needed to be killed.
Yeah, they would take advantage of the fact she couldn't control herself.
Yeah.
And they would send her in, and she did horrible things because of it. But she didn't care. And then it got to a point in her life where she was getting older and she wanted to change. She left, and then she ended up getting on a ship.
Yeah.
An airship. Which ended up crashing into the island, which was
the campaign.
The whole campaign. And there wasn't really much of that when we started, though.
No.
That kind of came afterwards, because obviously you pick backgrounds. I just picked criminal. It's the background, so I based it a lot around that with the whole gang thing, and I kind of elaborated on it later. And like I would say the real true backstory of Beloved as we were playing the game was, I've said this before, she started off as this really cold, standoffish, like mean character.
She was tough to get along with.
She was so difficult to get along with. And again, that's the trope of you play your first D&D character.
The lone wolf.
You make some sort of edgelord.
Edgy edgelord.
Which, as you can guess by the story, I did. And then, really, it was her morphing into someone who cared for her friends and actually cared about the other people around her.
Yeah, she began to, understand what friends are.
Yeah.
She's never really had friends.
No. Well, no.
And she began to understand what, like she could have a family again.
Yeah, exactly. And, the group ended up becoming her family, and she cared deeply for them. And she ended up becoming a really loyal friend to them and softened up a bit.
Yeah, she did. She did soften up.
She got a girlfriend.
She got a girlfriend,
Then she got, an adopted kid as well. So, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Would I say that the backstory I've just read out to you there was her through and through?
Yeah.
Probably not.
So, build was D tier.
Yeah.
Backstory is...
It's hard. Without saying too much, a lot of my characters mirror kind of what's going on in my real life.
Yeah.
So this one hurts. Yeah. I would say maybe C tier.
Okay, so we've had a D tier, C tier.
Yeah, I would say maybe C tier.
Okay.
For the backstory. I mean, what do you think?
It's not my character.
True.
I think for someone who didn't make a story to begin with, the story that you came up with as it went was actually quite good.
Oh, thank you.
So that is very good. But the last thing, the looks. What do you think about the looks?
I will have put up all the artwork I have of Beloved here. She's going to go S.
She's S tier with looks.
She's going to go S because the thing is, she's the only one, right, apart from Rey, who isn't an elf.
Yeah.
And she's just the iconic tiefling look, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's got like the brick red skin and the orange eyes and the dark navy hair, and she's buff and she's got the sword and the armor.
She is jacked.
Honestly, truly, I would say S tier.
So we got D for build, C for story, S for looks.
Yeah,
so
I think she ends up in C.
She's gonna end up in C.
Yeah, I think she probably ends up in C. Okay, but it's hard because I have so much sentimental attachment to all of these characters.
I know. That's why it's tough.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm very surprised. I'm very proud of you that you didn't just go S tier, C tier. Okay.
I'd say C tier.
Beloved is in C tier.
I'd say she's probably in C plus.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But
we'll say C.
To be honest, I think once they get up on the screen, we're probably going to change them around a bit anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
So that was my beloved.
Yes.
My sweet. Well, no, my
Not so sweet.
No, my jacked.
Your jacked, ripped barbarian.
And also, I keep going on about it. This is a problem. I talk way too much about my characters. She controlled the bloodlust in the end as well.
No, she did.
She came to terms with that. So the counterpart to my beloved, is your Nephmeros.
I don't have sexy artwork, unfortunately. I'm not. That's not my thing.
So this is Nephmeros.
This is Nephmeros.
We did get a commission done of Nephmeros, but I feel like it was a gift for Jack, and I feel like the description I gave was really bad. The reference images I gave were really bad. That's my fault.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
This is fine. This is Nephmeros. So what are we doing first?
So we're going to do is build.
Okay. So also a tiefling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can see what level we were on.
I'm very surprised that anyone comes to D&D and doesn't make a tiefling first.
Immediately make a tiefling. Yeah. Totally.
So,
love a tiefling.
Tiefling, warlock, fiendish warlock.
Yep.
So warlock and tiefling together.
Perfect mix.
S tier.
Perfect mix. Absolutely. Totally.
Fucking S tier.
You get that buff to your charisma.
You get that charisma.
Yep.
You get that free cast of hellish rebuke.
And darkness later on. And darkness. Else as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get thaumaturgy as a cantrip.
Yeah. So S tier.
Totally.
S tier mix there.
Totally.
The place where I fell down, and this is, again. We only had Player's Handbook open.
Yes.
So Player's Handbook.
This is the same campaign.
Yeah.
That Beloved was in.
Which is a great idea for a first campaign.
Yeah.
Very simple.
It keeps it reined in.
So later on, we actually opened up Xanathar's.
Yes.
And we could switch subclass at that point. So, Fiendish Warlock, in my opinion, not that good.
Okay.
Not that good.
Okay. What's the reasons for that? I don't really know much about warlocks.
So it's not that it's not that good. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, it's just a bit boring.
Okay, fair enough.
So the list of spells that you get are great. Yep. You get Fireball.
Yep.
You get Wall of Fire.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you get Scorching Ray.
Okay, cool.
So you get a couple of good spells.
You do get a couple of good spells.
All to do with fire.
Yeah, totally. It works with Tiefling as well.
Yeah. And the capstone ability is great.
Yeah.
You're just never going to get there, obviously.
What's the capstone ability?
Hurl through hell.
Sounds
so you get to
fuck.
Yeah, you get to drag your opponent through hell.
That sounds,
it does a fucking shitload of fire.
That sounds pretty cool.
But the problem is you don't really get there. You never get there with anyone.
Yeah, of course.
So the capstone's amazing, but the rest of the abilities are, none of them are particularly like wow.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Go on one more time.
Like you get some temporary hit points when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points. I fucking can't remember the rest. But it wasn't anything special.
Okay.
So to me, Warlock and Tiefling make it A tier.
Yep, totally.
Subclass would have pushed it up to S.
Yeah, totally.
Currently, he's rocking a B.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Currently, Nephmeros is rocking a B.
Yeah.
However, later down the line, I
Yes.
changed him because we opened Xanathars.
Yep.
I changed him to a Hexblade.
Yes, you did.
Because Margaret was the only melee, and she was getting fucking wailed on all the time.
Yeah.
And we couldn't flank at any point or anything like that. So I was like, our wizard.
And I had Sentinel.
Our wizard just every fight ran as far away as possible.
As a wizard would.
So I was sort of just like in the middle, like I don't want to leave my friend, but I don't want to like leave my other friend who's backed up too much. So I was like, I know. We opened up Xanathars. I said to our DM, can I please re-roll my subclass? And I said, yeah. And I was like, awesome. I'm going to, we had this whole thematic thing where I began to, train with Beloved.
Yeah,
and she began to teach me how to use a sword and stuff like that. And then, so I ended up being a Hexblade at the end.
Yes.
Which I would say.
Totally. So with you. I'm so with you.
I think Hexblade is one of the best subclasses in D&D.
Agreed. If you can't see on the screen, he's put it back into S.
I think it's up to S.
Yeah.
I think, we should probably say that for people listening on Spotify who don't watch it on Spotify.
Yes.
So, Nephmeros' build, when he changed to Hexblade, was S.
Totally.
S
I'm with
tier.
you. I'm so with you. Love a Hexblade.
Okay.
As you will see later on.
The story.
Yes.
I did think of a backstory.
You did.
It got me really excited, thinking of a backstory.
Yeah.
I came into session 1 with it and I knew exactly what was happening. Basically, he was a young lad who was an orphan. Oh, by the way, just
obviously,
just so you know, all of my backstories. I would like to compare myself to Liam O'Brien with my level of tragic
tragedy. Man, you love a little bit of tragedy.
I love a little bit of tragedy.
Spoiler alert, there's going to be some backstories he talks about later. I will not be able to not cry.
Yes, they are very tragic.
I will cry. I cry every time.
A lot of them are tragic.
Yep.
So
Nephmeros is no exception.
Yeah, Nephmeros is
what
no
was
exception.
Nephmeros' last name?
Daragard?
Cool.
Daragard? I think it was, yeah. Nephmeros Daragard. So orphan.
Yep.
Of course.
Obviously.
Was put through school.
Yep.
By the people there.
Yeah.
And it was a magic school.
Yep.
He wasn't naturally gifted. Very unnaturally gifted.
Yeah.
And began to get very frustrated in his teen years.
Yeah, so was he training to be a wizard?
He was training to be a wizard, yeah. Or a sorcerer, anything like that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't getting it. And then basically a teacher at the school offered him a deal. A teacher at the school said, don't worry, it's okay. If you're not getting it naturally, there are other ways. The wizard at the school was a very bad man. And he
Spoiler.
entered Nephmeros in a deal with Orcus.
Yes. Who Orcus actually ended up being, who was part of my infernal bloodline as well.
He basically saw his frustration, he preyed on it, he used it against him.
Yep, totally.
And he was like, there's an easier way.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this anymore.
Hey, just take a load off.
Just take a load off.
You can have all this power for nothing.
You can have all the magic, you can be top of the class, you can be amazing, but for nothing. You just get on for free. So Nephmeros was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So he took the deal, and did a lot of bad things.
Naturally, as you would with a fiendish patron.
Yes, was forced to kill a lot of people and do a lot of dark biddings.
Yes,
for his fiendish patron.
Yep,
and he found a way, and a lot of other people found a way that had made a similar deal.
Yeah,
to block Orcus out. They had to basically make this medallion out of the marrow from demon bones.
Yeah.
And he got a medallion that kept Orcus out.
Yeah.
Kept the powers, but wasn't controlled.
Yes. It hid you from Orcus's sight.
Yes, it basically hid me from his sight. And we formed a little community called the Brotherhood. And we just, brought other people in who had made pacts with demons or anything nefarious like that, and basically help them find a way to stop it.
Yeah.
When I crash landed on the island, basically these amulets need refreshing.
Yeah.
Because of the weight of the thing that's after you.
Yes, of course.
Obviously, it takes its toll on the amulet. The amulet begins to crack.
Yes.
And you need to find some more and rejuvenate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't do that on the island. And it began to crack and stuff like that. And that's how his backstory went.
It did, yeah.
So
but
I would say
ultimately,
for me, backstory, is a B tier.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Out of my backstories,
purely based on knowing what your other characters have been.
Yes.
I would agree. I would say B tier.
I would say it's a B tier. So currently, I would say he's in A.
Totally.
Good build.
Yeah, totally.
Mid-tier backstory.
Yeah.
He's in A tier.
Yeah, totally.
Appearance. About as edgy as it comes.
True. He ended up in the end having like a crown.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. His appearance changed a little bit. He had like a little black crown.
Yeah.
Like this very spiky black crown.
It was really cool.
And like a black overcoat.
Yeah.
Oh god, the dog's headbutting me. And
is he headbutting you? Tell them what he's really doing. Tell them.
No, he headbutted us.
Did he?
Yeah. He's trying to sniff. He's trying to sniff my.
His belly button. The dog's trying to sniff his belly button.
My dog has a fascination with my belly button.
Belly
And I don't know why.
I'm sorry, that's absolutely vile.
It's vile.
I just had to tell you what.
She's outing me.
I've outed you to everyone.
And sometimes when he's doing it, I just let him. because he likes it.
And one time I was like, why are you letting him do it? And you were like, well, he clearly enjoys it.
He's enjoying it.
You're vile. You're terrible and vile. You're disgusting. And you're disgusting. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
In terms of appearance, he's a purple tiefling with black horns, black hair, and a black outfit.
Yeah.
I would say it's...
I'd put that in S tier.
I would also say that's B tier.
I'd say that's S tier.
So I think my overall ranking is B tier.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that's fair enough.
I'd say Nephmeros is B.
Yeah, totally.
For a first character, I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah, totally.
It was a good go.
Yeah, it really was. Nephmeros was a great guy.
Yeah.
He tried with everyone.
He was a very, his personality was like he'd been through more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he'd overcome a lot in his life. He was a very optimistic person.
He was a good guy.
He was very much like the glue that held the party together.
Totally.
By just trying to keep the mood light because it was very much like
doom and gloom. Yeah.
It was doom and gloom.
Totally.
His amulet was going to crack and Orcus was going to take over, and when that happened, you were all probably going to die.
Yeah.
So, he tried to keep spirits high and be like, it's okay, we can get there and we'll get off this island.
Funny, isn't it, how much of an edgelord he looked and how much he potentially could have sounded.
That was the point.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says. That was the point. It was such an edgy backstory, but he was such a nice person.
Yeah, he was.
And he shared a lot of nice moments with Beloved.
Totally. Yeah, no, he did. He really did. He shared a lot of nice moments with Good as well.
Yeah, he did.
I would say.
It was he was a nice guy.
Yeah, totally.
Who's next?
Okay, up next is another druid.
Another druid?
Called Ymir.
Oh, was Ymir a druid? See, these characters are the ones who have played the least. So.
Yes. So to give you some setup to this, we at the time didn't know many people who played D&D, and we were desperate to play more D&D, right? So we reached out to our local friendly game store. Mm-hmm. We found a group.
Yeah.
We played with them for one session. We had met up with them multiple times prior.
Yeah. But it was like a 9-hour session.
Yeah.
It was an epic.
It ended up just not being our type of table.
Yeah, but we still made characters for them.
The people we played with were great, really nice people. Just not our table. So we played one session, which was about 12 hours. Realistically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long session.
It was realistically about 12 hours.
So it would be like 3 sessions for normal people.
So we made characters.
Yes, tell me about Ymir.
This is Ymir Oakbloom.
Ooh.
And I only have one picture of her, which is the Hero Forge one here. And her build is, she was a wood elf, she was a druid, and she was a Circle of Shepherd druid.
Nice, okay.
Which... you'll see makes an appearance again later on.
We both got doubles of
we do, and I'm sure all of you who have played fleeting campaigns, you know what it's like.
You know what it's like.
So, for the build,
sounds like a pretty strong build.
It's an S tier build,
isn't it? More of an S tier build.
She's a wood elf, Circle of Shepherd druid.
Like wood elf is.
Wood elf gives you dex, and wood elf gives you wisdom. I think.
Perfect.
But I remember specifically being like, "This is perfect.
Yeah,
this is totally perfect for her."
The Circle of Shepherd subclass as well.
Oh man,
such a good subclass.
Love that subclass.
Those totems.
Oh, the totems absolutely slap.
I would say Circle of Shepherd as a subclass is S tier.
Oh, totally.
Absolute S tier.
I would say her build was S tier.
Yeah, I would say.
Like straight off the bat,
she's
S-tier.
up there.
Yeah. So, her backstory. Now, we joined a campaign that had very rich lore. We had been given a world primer, etc., etc. I built my backstory very much around the world. So I'm simply going to read this because I can't quite remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
So her city, Carmanthia, fell, and when it fell, they lost their archdruid, Fiora. So the next in line, Erevan, took over. I don't know why I'm giving you all these names like it matters. Basically,
I'm fucking into it. I bet you everybody else is as well. It sounds great.
Archdruid fell. Next in line took over.
This.
You did help me write this because originally you were going to be my twin.
Yeah.
Anywho, Erevan, who stepped up after Fiora, he ended up getting corrupted by something that was deep in the forest. And through the course of hundreds of years, because she was an older wood elf, the wood elves ended up losing their way. And their way, as you can imagine, was very much you live off the land, you don't take too much. If you have to, when you do a hunt, you thank the animals, etc.
All good druid stuff.
Yeah.
All the good druid
Totally.
stuff.
Ended up losing their way. People in the clan started to get upset about it. They started raising their opinions. When the elders finally approached him, he basically slaughtered them and said, this is just how it is now.
Nice.
So Ymir was one of the main people who was standing up against Erevan. She saw this, she ran away, and she ended up going into the outside world. And all she wanted to do was get people to listen to her and come back to Carmanthia, take it back, get this dude out. And in the meantime, she also wanted to pray to her god Sylvanas. That's it.
Sounds great.
That's it. And again, in this world, it was very much, it's humans' heyday.
Yeah. It was very much
Carmanthia's fallen. The elves have gone. Elves have abandoned us.
Yeah.
It's man's time now. Yeah. So it was hard for her.
Yeah.
Going out into the big bad world now.
Story.
Yeah.
Where does that sit?
It's very simple.
It's simple.
It's very simple, but sometimes simple are really effective.
I don't think there's anything wrong with simple.
Now, would I have written this just like this if I didn't have the influence of the world primer? Probably not.
Okay.
I would say, honestly, and I don't know if this is biased because I only played her for one session.
Yeah.
I would say it's like a D.
You think the story's D?
Yeah, I would say it's like a D tier.
Oh, okay.
But again, I think that could be bias because I didn't really play her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think you're being quite harsh on that. Not that because I helped write it. I think that story's quite good.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think it's riddled with motives.
Yeah.
There's so much potential. Like, if I got that story as a DM, bread and fucking butter.
Thank you.
Bread and butter. That'd be great.
Yeah, like, it's simple, but it leaves enough to be desired.
Yeah, I think there's like, what corrupted him? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What corrupted this dude? And
yeah, that was the path that it was going to go down.
That sounds great. Like, it's like you don't know what it was.
Yeah.
So you don't know why it's turned him.
Yeah.
It could have been something that was actually like, you never know. It could have been this weird thing. Like, I don't know. There's so much room there.
Yeah.
For a DM to take over. Like, he could have been the bad guy, but really was he the good guy?
Yeah, totally.
Did he do this to like save the elves?
I know.
You know
like,
what I mean?
how did that hand get twisted like that in the end? Hand get twisted? What am I saying?
I feel like that has a lot. But you know, if that's what you want.
I think, you know what? I think after hearing that from you, I would be willing to push it into a C tier.
You sure?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I think so. No, you know what? It would be a D plus. She stays in D.
She stays D plus.
She stays in D.
S tier build.
Yep.
D tier story.
Yes. Now, appearance. So, I ended up making her in like 5 minutes on Hero Forge because I just we played with like physical minis.
Yes.
And I just thought I had to do it. Now, is she still a hot elf?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course she is.
Totally.
It's you.
But what I have to do is I have to objectively look at her compared to all of my other characters.
Yeah.
Okay? She stands out the least. She's serving the least.
It's fair.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
She's serving the very bare minimum.
She's serving up the least.
So, because of that, I would like to put her looks in C tier.
Okay. So where would that leave her?
Probably in D tier.
Do you think?
probably in D tier.
Okay.
Well, no, because her build was so good. Let's put her. Shall we put her in C?
We'll put her in C, but we'll put her behind Beloved.
Totally. You know that makes, now that she's in C tier, I'm like, Beloved doesn't deserve to be there.
I know this is what happens.
Beloved doesn't deserve to be in C tier.
Well, do you want to pop it back down in D?
How about we put Beloved in B?
Okay, so.
There she goes. She joins Nephmeros.
So Beloved and Nephmeros are together again.
Yeah, indeed.
In B.
So.
And, Ymir is in D.
That is Ymir. So that brings us on to the counterpart to Ymir.
Oh, right. Okay. Brannum.
Okay. This is Brannum. Jack totally didn't just make him.
Yeah, he was the only one.
He
was the only one that I didn't have actually made.
Yeah.
But I remember exactly what he looked like.
Yeah.
Okay.
His build.
So he was a dwarf.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which Margaret was super happy about.
We don't need to get into the small
He was
debate.
a dwarf, fighter, rune knight.
He was a rune knight.
I do have another rune knight in this list. Okay.
And if you watched our episode, I think it was 18, where we rolled random characters, we also rolled a rune knight.
Yeah, do a rune knight.
Just keeps coming up.
So build. Dwarf, perfect for a fighter.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's +2 to con, +1 to strength. If you play a specific dwarf, which I didn't play, you can get like +2, +1, I think.
No idea. Know nothing about the dwarves.
Has poison resistance.
Yeah.
Always great for, because he was built to be a tank. And fighter, great class.
Yep, love a fighter.
Fantastic class.
Love a fighter.
Loads of feats, loads of ASIs.
Yep.
Which I love, because I love to fucking get that particular build.
Yeah.
So fighter is probably my favorite martial class.
Yep.
And rune knight.
Oh, you love a rune knight.
Oh, man.
Oh, you love a rune
Couldn't
knight.
be any more S tier.
No, totally.
In my opinion.
Totally.
Probably not the best damage dealer out of all of like the fighters. You know, you go for a champion fighter and you go crit fishing.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be doing more damage.
That's not what he was built for.
He was built to be a tank.
Yeah.
He was built to be a tank and to be like a battlefield control.
Yeah.
The way that you get to make yourself bigger and take up more of the battlefield, great for being a tank.
Totally.
The runes that you get,
Yeah.
even at level 1, fire rune deals a lot of damage and can lock an enemy down. I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's the cloud or the stone rune can like charm somebody when they come within range. And then the other one, it's the cloud rune, allows you to, when someone makes an attack against somebody that you can see, you can make that, you can redirect that attack against, it doesn't even have to be you, it can be anyone, so it could be another enemy.
Yeah, very cool.
So if you see a crit, you go reaction cloud rune, make that crit hit their own ally.
Yeah.
Boom. Just dealt a crit to an enemy, not even on your turn.
Awesome.
Such a great build.
Awesome.
Then you get a 7th level and you get the hill giant rune, which makes you like resistant to all damage. And then the storm rune, which lets you like give advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, cool.
Which is sick.
Cool.
Then you get to go bigger and bigger and bigger.
So what would you rate the build?
S tier.
Totally, I'm with you.
Build is S tier.
Yeah, totally.
Build is absolute S tier. Story.
His backstory.
Okay, his backstory. Brannum grew up in a society of dwarves. Like in this person's world, this DM's world, dwarves were dwarves.
Yes.
They kept themselves to themselves.
Yep. Traditional dwarf.
Very, very traditional dwarves. He was like part of the guard.
Yep.
His mother and father were both very important people, like high-ranking officers of the guard. Very sought after, very well regarded people. And Brannum was more than happy to follow in their footsteps. He found love very young. He fell in love with, I can't remember what her name was, that I made up. He fell in love with a dwarven lady. They got married, and she began to speak of the outside world. She wanted to go and see the world. She wanted to go and see the forests.
Yeah.
She wanted to go and see the ruins and the castles and the countryside and all these beautiful things.
Yeah.
That's all she ever wanted. That's all she wanted from life. And Brannum was very much like, I have expectations. I can't leave.
Yeah.
But I will. And he always promised that. That's what he said.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah,
I promise I will when we like retire. And she was like, no, I don't want to do it when I retire. I want to do it now. And he's like, maybe next year. Next year. She passed away. Sadly. She passed away from, I can't remember what it was. And it just struck him. Like when she died, everything in his life changed.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was experience the world for her. So he took like a medallion and he wore it around his neck every day, and he dropped his position. He left his family and he went out and experienced the world for her.
Yeah, man. This is the first time I'm properly hearing this because we never really discussed it after that session.
No, we discussed it once when I was driving and you were in the passenger seat. I remember I looked at you and you were like,
yeah.
So that was it. It was tough. It was like, because it was like, I didn't want something like, it wasn't like, this is the end goal.
Yeah.
It was just, like, could you want a more perfect, he would never not go adventuring.
Yeah.
Because all he ever wanted to do was see the wonders of the world for her.
Yeah. I remember actually in the role play you kept being like, oh, he looks at like something in his pocket or something like that and like smiling.
It was like a pocket watch or an amulet or something like that. And like he always just used
that like was her. I'm assuming now in hindsight.
That was hers. And so it was just more than anything about experiencing the world. Yeah. That he just had deep fucking regrets that he never got to.
Yeah, man, that's so sad.
To do with her.
Jesus. That hurts a lot, doesn't it?
I would say that his story is A tier.
I agree. Yeah, I would even say that's probably S tier. I love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the tragedy of it all, to be honest. Love the tragedy. Love it. But no, if you think it's A tier, then yeah, fair enough.
You think it's S tier?
Yeah, I love that story. But
okay, well,
like you have to compare it to your other characters though. In fact, no, I can think of another character that's S tier.
I think there's only one other that's S tier.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
So I would say it's A tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, if you can see. The tab.
Make full screen Microsoft Edge.
Listen, yes, we use Microsoft Edge. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to know.
So, the looks.
Yes.
It's hard for me.
Okay.
Because he's a dwarf.
Yep.
He has a nice, big, thick beard.
Yep.
It's braided on both sides. He's got a buzz cut.
Yep.
Top knot tied back. Very simple armor.
Yep.
I don't think there's much you can say about it other than I would probably say it's C tier or B tier.
That's up to you. You don't want to hear my opinion.
Yeah, I know your opinion. Down here in D. I think in total, I think he's an A tier character.
Yeah, I agree. Because the class and the subclass, you live for a knife fighter.
The class and the subclass are amazing. Yeah. And I actually really like the story. Like, I think of that story and wish I could play it.
I agree. Love that story.
I just think he's such a great character.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Only just the dwarf. But anyway, I'm totally with you. It's a shame you never got to play him out.
It is a shame. And also, by the way, if you like any of these backstories or anything like this,
have them. Totally
have
them. Like, please have them.
Have them. And
you're welcome to them. Totally.
Okay, who's next?
Okay, up next we have my cleric. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay. My cleric, Lilith.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And this is Lilith.
Yes.
Her full name is Lilith White, but she was formerly Lilith Wilds.
Nice.
And this is her. Got some commissions of her. So her build, she is a wood elf cleric, and she was a grave cleric.
Okay.
So this was when I was in the mindset of I have to get as far away from barbarian as I humanly can, and I should be the healer. That didn't turn out very well for me.
No.
In the end.
Margaret actually despises
being the healer. And also, I made Lilith around the same time I made Willow as well. Yeah. So I was very much in the headspace of healer. To give you some context to the campaign, and the reason I'm giving the context to campaigns is because we played the characters around the same time.
Yes.
It was our good friend Jack. He was just a friend of our friends who he worked with. Now he's one of our friends. Jack, we see you coming on the podcast. Thank you so much. Hi, Jack. You rock.
We love you.
It was his campaign. We originally came in just as stand-ins because they didn't have anyone else in. And then we ended up staying for a bit longer. Again, I think we only stayed for like 6 sessions, maybe. And that's because at the time we were playing 3 campaigns.
Yeah, it was too many campaigns.
And Jack was DMing one of them, and it was honestly just way too much.
Yeah.
So she was very short-lived, but that was her build, Wood Elf Grave Cleric. So pairing the Wood Elf with the Cleric, again, you get the Wisdom buff.
Perfect.
Like, pretty good combo.
What do you think of cleric as just a class?
So, you know what? My opinion on cleric has changed a lot recently.
Okay.
Purely because of the way Abby plays her cleric. I always saw cleric as like, oh, you have to heal, whatever. Yeah. You totally don't. No. You absolutely don't. And Abby has proven that cleric is a really versatile, strong class.
Yeah.
So I really like cleric now.
I think cleric is a fantastic class.
I like cleric. I like cleric a lot.
Cleric is very versatile. You can heal.
Yeah.
You can DPS.
Yep.
You could
probably tank.
You could
probably tank if you really.
You got the heavy armor with the specific subclass. And you get a lot of like healing spells, so you could be quite self-sufficient as a tank.
Yeah,
it's definitely a very versatile class.
And now, did I like cleric for me in this build? I don't know, because again, I geared towards healing.
And you played what? Grave cleric.
I played a glaive cleric. I played a grave cleric.
Yeah.
And grave cleric once again suited to healing, because you get the free spare the dying. You get if you bring someone back who's gone down, they get the full heal.
Full heal. Yeah.
You get the full heal. And there was another thing where you could immediately stabilize someone or something like that. So grave cleric, for what she was, I would say that build was S tier. Could I potentially have done something other than wood elf? Probably. You know what? I don't think wood elf thematically really fit. Oh no, it did. In the end, yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because of a backstory, I suppose it did. I would put that I would maybe put that in A+.
Okay, so we're gonna say build was an A+.
Probably A+, yeah. Okay. So an A. What do you think?
I would say, yeah. I don't think grave cleric is the strongest subclass.
No, it's totally not.
I think it's good for what it does.
Not. Yeah,
and I think it's very. Do you want to know what I think in terms of roleplay? It's extremely thematic.
That really, I lent into that a lot.
Yeah, I think it really lent into the backstory.
Yeah,
but I think any sort of elf, cleric, wisdom.
Yeah,
it's always going to be good.
It's always going to be good.
But I think the subclass
pulls it down a bit.
Pulls it down a little bit.
Yeah,
because I agree. I don't think it's that good of a subclass.
I agree. However,
no, I think it is good. I don't think it's S.
Yeah, but grave cleric for what she was geared up for was perfect.
Yeah.
So her backstory. Now, again, to give you some background, once again, we were given a world primer. We were told everything that was going on. I built this based around the world primer, and I loved the world primer. And I was going to say, I hope this isn't spoilers, but I don't think this campaign is being played with Jack. I'm so sorry. If there's anyway, it can't possibly be spoilers.
We don't know. We didn't finish the campaign.
Basically, the world. There was a comet that had fallen. The world was plunged into like an eternal darkness situation. It was getting better. It was still really dangerous at night. Loads of people died. There was things about titans. There was things about lost souls. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think Jack did an amazing job.
And there was loads of gods as well, which worked perfectly for a cleric.
I think Jack made a really, really amazing
world. He really did. It was a really interesting, and especially the stuff we were learning just before we left as well was very interesting. So, Lilith, her family died when the comet fell. She was a wood elf, so she'd lived for hundreds of years. She saw the comet actually falling. And she watched her sister, called Theodora, she watched as she was killed. Her soul was ripped from her in a way that plunged her into undeath, basically. There was like a severing of the soul from the body and then the afterlife. And she basically became undead. And her soul wandered and was like eternally racked with pain or whatever. Lilith promised her sister she was going to find a way to bring peace to her, basically. So she left the city. It was in ruin anyway, and then she wanted to get to the main city. Now, traveling alone, especially if the comet fall, was so dangerous because of the nighttime. So she actually died on the way. When Lilith died, her god, who was called the White Raven, who was kind of like a demigod to the equivalent of the Raven Queen, right? The White Raven stepped in, intervened, and said, I know you have unfinished business. You can help me. Here's a second chance. And brought Lilith back from wherever she was going. Yeah. So Lilith was then stuck in this really weird in-between where she was trying to find a cure for her sister who was undead, but she was also undead, And she had to grapple with the idea of, well, how come this god brought me back but didn't help my sister? And she ended up joining a clergy called the Death Clergy. And she made her lifetime goal to understand the veil between the living and the dead.
Yeah.
Which played really well into the grave cleric thing. And she ultimately wanted to find a way to save her sister's soul.
Yeah.
And potentially her own afterwards. And that's that.
Nice.
Yeah. And you know what? When I read that out loud, I realize how much I really like that.
Yeah?
I really, really like that.
Would you put that in S?
I would... what do you think?
I think it's a really cool backstory.
I don't know if I've ever really properly told you that in full.
You didn't?
No. I really like that backstory.
I think it's really cool.
I think it fit really well with the world.
Yeah, I think
it had a lot of... it could have led to a lot of exploration about things I really am interested in myself.
Yeah.
Like the veil between living and the dead, and like honoring the dead, and celebrating the living. And the way I played Lilith was, she was very like dry and sarcastic. I would say Lilith was like a true neutral character. Yeah. If there ever was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably put her in S tier.
Nice.
Yeah. The story, at least.
I think it's a great story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very much.
So we had story in S.
Yep.
Build
you know
in
what?
A.
I actually probably would have moved the build into B.
Okay, so
like upon reflecting on it.
So we're rocking in A tier right now.
We're rocking in A tier.
Okay. What do you think about the looks?
So, Lilith is hot.
She's pretty hot.
She is so hot. She was like super themed around the White Raven. Again, I don't know if you can see. The White Raven was kind of all about like this like white bird, and there was like pink ribbons, and there's like 3 keys around her neck, and she actually had a look before she died, where she was a typical wood elf, and she had brown hair and like
brown hair.
Brown hair.
She's got brown hair.
But you know, after being undead, she looked like that. However, I have to be objective. Does she just look like any other elf?
I don't think so.
Do you
I think she has enough about her that doesn't make her just look like an elf.
Yeah, she has glasses as well.
She
Big
is.
round
I mean,
glasses.
they can see. You'll have put it up here.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
So build is in B.
Build is in B.
Story is in S.
I would say, based on my other girls, her looks are not the most striking.
But she is hot.
Oh God, I'm gonna put her in B tier for her looks.
So would you say? So she was S tier build. No, sorry, B tier build.
Yeah.
S tier story.
Yeah.
B tier looks.
Yeah.
Is she B or is she A?
She's probably B, right?
She's B. Yeah.
Realistically, she's probably B.
Would you say she's higher than Beloved though?
Oh, that's hard because Beloved had a terrible build.
Beloved had a terrible build.
And like an okay story.
And an okay story.
Yeah, I'd put her above Beloved.
I think she's also above Nephmeros.
No, she's not above Nephmeros.
I think she is.
No, I don't think she is.
Story makes her there.
Oh, I do really like her story.
Story is far better than both of those.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, happy to leave it there.
Yeah.
Happy to leave it there. So, this brings us on to your counterpart.
Yes.
To Lilith.
Yeah. This is Hamilton.
This is Hamilton. This is he.
This is he.
What was his last name?
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton Thane. Hamilton of House Thane. I will have you know.
Yes.
That's how he introduced himself. Hamilton of House Thane.
Yeah. Take it away.
He is a variant human.
Yep.
Because God knows I love a feature level 1.
Loves a variant human, does our Jack.
Loves a variant human. That feature level 1 really lets you lean into a play style. Blood Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Slayer.
Very fucking cool. Very fitting for the world we were in as well.
So, variant human, S tier.
Yeah.
Blood Hunter, not actually that good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Ghost
the thing
Slayer.
Is, love the aesthetic of a Blood Hunter.
The aesthetic and the theme. Got it. S tier fucking
totally.
all day and all. But
totally.
I don't think the Ghost Slayer, the fact that all of your Crimson Right damage can be force damage, is great because force is the least resistant damage in the game, which is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, indeed.
But I don't think many of the other subclass features are that good.
Yeah.
And also, I think the Blood Hunter needs more uses of their curses.
Okay.
I think they don't get enough curse uses early level. I think they're actually quite shit early level.
Fair enough.
I think they get good towards the end because you get quite a few uses of your curses.
Yeah.
But I think there's so little uses of the curses at the beginning. I think it's actually quite bad.
Yeah.
But so I think Variant Human S tier.
Yep.
I did take crossbow expert.
Yes. Yeah.
So I got to double wield some crossbows.
Yep.
Ching, ching, ching,
Nice.
Ching, ching,
Yeah.
So that was good, but I think the rest of it is bad. I think the build is B.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I think the build is right down the middle.
Totally. Yeah.
Variant Human's good.
Yep.
The force damage is good. The crossbow expert's good. But the rest of the class is actually not that good.
Fair enough.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I wish it was just a little bit better.
Yeah.
It needs like Berserker Barbarian. It needs a
little
bit of
bit
love.
of love.
Needs a little bit of love.
Totally.
Okay, so he's in B
Yep.
for the build. Story. Okay.
Okay.
So Hamilton and his family, his house then. The Thin family.
Yes.
Very, very, again, very well regarded.
Yep.
But this was more like nationally.
Yeah.
So they were monster hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I really, you're gonna. I'm also very, 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 very stereotypical. Like the stereotypes are there for a reason when it comes to backstory. So my blood hunter is a monster hunter.
Yep.
So vampires, werewolves, all the things that go bump in the night.
Yep.
His family is hired to do that.
Yeah.
They're like, go on.
No, I was going to say we had just watched Castlevania as well.
Yes.
And
so
he was very much like a Trevor Belmont.
He was very Trevor Belmont. Trevor Belmont is
the coolest dude.
the fucking coolest character.
Love Trevor Belmont.
On Earth. We should watch that again.
We should totally watch
If you
that
haven't
again.
watched Castlevania on
Castlevania.
Netflix.
It's so good.
It's
in like a...
insane.
It's so good.
The voice actor for Trevor Belmont.
Man.
Oh,
And
man. Potentially.
Alucard as well.
Oh my God. And
Cypher.
Cypher is...
Cypher is the coolest bitch
She's
on
the coolest
Earth.
bitch on
Fucking
Earth.
love Cypher. Anyway, please watch Castlevania on Netflix. We're not sponsored. But
So
please.
we just come off a Castlevania kick. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm playing a fucking Blood Hunter.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm playing a Monster Hunter, Blood Hunter sort of vibe.
Yep.
So his family was like always hired to go and kill the things that people were having problems with. Mm-hmm. There was a big vampire thing going on, and we just wiped out a bunch of vampires, like a family or a nest or whatever you want to call it of vampires. But we didn't kill all of them. We thought we did. So everyone went home, successful job, we got paid, and I left on a little job to go and do something else. I'd come home, and my family had been turned into vampires. They'd attacked when I was gone, but they attacked in like forces. Their nest went to another nest, and we were sort of like the bane of their existence.
Yeah.
And they were like, they didn't really work together, but in this instance,
they
were like,
did.
yeah, we'll do it. We'll work together.
Yeah.
So they struck while I was out.
Yep.
And they turned my entire family into vampires.
And it was crueler than killing them, really, wasn't it?
That was the point.
Yeah.
It was like, we could kill you, or we could turn you into what you hate the most.
Exactly. And now you have to deal with the repercussions.
And now you've got to deal with it.
Living like this.
So I went back and I found out, and I swore vengeance.
Yeah, of course.
And I was searching for a cure.
Yeah.
And people would, everywhere I went, like the whole thing was like, I wanted Jack to be like, I'm known. Because when people asked about my family, it hurt.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Which people did.
Yeah, they were like, I got a letter from like my family, and I bumped into somebody I knew, and they were like, oh, how's your family? And I was like,
it was just...
that was the great.
I know.
So good.
Yeah.
So that was Hamilton's story.
Yeah.
In terms of stories, B tier.
You give him B tier.
Don't think it's the best.
I fucking love that story.
You do?
I've not told you this before. When you first told me about that backstory, because this was like kind of like the third campaign we'd played in. We've completely forgotten some characters. I went for a toilet break. We've forgotten some characters in here.
We're going to honourable mention them at the end.
Honourable mention them. So we hadn't really been playing for very long. When we left the campaign and we did shall we tell each other's backstories?
Yeah.
You told me his backstory, and I remember thinking, holy shit, Jack's a really good storyteller.
Oh.
I was like, wow, that's a great story. That's a great twist.
Do you think?
Yeah. I remember sitting there being like, fuck.
Do you think? I think that's a proper basic story.
I love that. I love that. Maybe I'm biased because I love vampires and I love you.
Oh,
but
thank you.
I love vampires. I love a plot twist. And I think it's because you played it in the game where you were like, I need to get these vials of blood to my family for them to inspect it because they were well-known monster hunters.
So, yeah. So I played it as I used to buy, when we could go to the general goods store, I used to go in and buy loads of vials.
Yep.
And I used to buy like crates.
Yeah.
And when we'd kill things, any sort of humanoid that we would kill, I would bleed it.
Yeah.
If I couldn't find enough, I'd bleed myself.
Yeah, but we didn't know that.
You didn't know this. I'd pack it up.
Yep.
I'd send it home because they needed to eat something.
Yeah, but you were like, I'm sending it back for testing.
And testing.
And we were all like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So I think, I, as a player, didn't know that was the twist. So when you told me, I was like, fuck. I think that's an S tier story.
Do you think?
Yeah, totally. But, maybe I'm biased.
Okay.
But, again, comparatively to your other characters, you have to think of it like comparatively, don't you?
Yeah. You made me think now.
You can leave him in B, totally.
So the thing is, though, I think his style, if we're going to look, I think he's one of the coolest.
Aesthetics, totally fucking
double crossbow, trench coat.
Totally.
It's stereotypical,
Yep.
but it's cool.
Totally
he had like
S-tier.
that, like slightly, not like greased, but like that shiny,
Yeah.
slightly pushed over the ears, like curly
Yeah,
hair
totally.
with a little mustache.
Yeah,
It's cool as
he had
fuck.
like the boots and the
I
coat.
think overall, he's actually an A-tier character.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I think overall he's an A-tier character.
I don't think he's in front of Brannum.
Fair enough.
I think Brannum's build takes him above.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. For you, yeah, I totally agree. Hamilton, what a lad.
Hamilton of House Thane.
Hamilton of House Thane. You know what? It's funny, isn't it? Like reminiscing about these two characters. Like, I think they could have ended up fucking being like with how Jack was gonna take their backstories.
Yeah.
I'm assuming I think that would have ended up really fucking cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
I didn't realize you liked that backstory so much.
I did. Yeah.
So yeah, all tragic though.
All tragic.
All very tragic. And,
yes.
I think the last one's the most tragic. But
Yes. Well, they get more tragic.
Yes.
So, on to my next one.
Yeah. Who's that?
This is Willow.
Ooh, baby.
So, this is Willow Whisperwind.
This is Willow.
Also known as the Golden One.
The Golden One.
And there's probably loads of art flashing up here because I got a lot of commissions for Willow because I fucking loved Willow.
You did.
So, you may have heard me mention Willow before, but her build is she is a Furbolg, she's a Druid, she's a Circle of Shepherd Druid.
This is the other Circle of Shepherd Druid.
This is the other Circle of Shepherd of Druid. So, what did I say?
Shepherd of Druid.
Did I say what I said?
Yeah.
Circle of Shepherd Druid.
Yes.
So, the build.
Yeah.
The build couldn't get more S tier.
S tier
Could
build.
it? A Furbolg, you get so many benefits of being a Furbolg.
You get speech and leaf.
Speech of beast and leaf.
Speech
so
of
you
beast
can
and
just
leaf.
talk to animals and talk to plants.
Yeah.
You get hidden step.
Mm-hmm.
You get a free disguise self or a free detect magic.
All great shit.
So
all
many
such great things.
Great things.
I think the stats are +2 wisdom +1 con.
Potentially. In
Should I have
fact,
a look
yeah.
on here?
I can't. I think
No?
I can't.
No.
My nails are too long for me to do the
tip
tappy.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah,
It's definitely wisdom.
It's something like that. Trust me, the Furbolg couldn't have been more perfect for her.
Perfect.
Especially for her, because I played the Druid exactly as you would expect the Druid to be played in this circumstance. So, builder's S tier.
I would say the build is S tier. Like, because Ymir, was it Ymir?
Ymir, yeah.
She was the Circle of Shepherd.
Yeah, she was Circle of Shepherd. She was Wood Elf.
Build was S tier.
Yeah, build was
It's
S tier.
It's the same build.
So
but Furbolgs are just better, I think.
Yeah, totally. And with Circle of Shepherd, she gets the totems. So she gets 3 different variations of totems.
Yeah.
She could put down, it was called the Unicorn totem.
Yeah.
Where it was like basically passive healing to anyone in the radius.
Unreal.
There was the Bear totem, which was like pluses to your con and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was the Eagle totem, which was
I think
bonuses.
it was temporary hit points.
It was temporary hit points.
Temporary hit points per round.
Yes, and you got advantage on, I think, like some sort of save.
Yeah.
And then the Eagle Totem, which gave you buffs to your wisdom and perception and stuff like that.
I think it also you could give out advantage to one person.
Yeah, I think so. You can tell which one I used the most, which was the Unicorn one,
the healing, yeah.
Because Willow was my healer.
It was perfect.
Willow was my healer. And Willow was like my first proper dip into Druid.
Yeah.
She was the learning curve that is Druid, because if you guys play a Druid, you know there is quite a bit of a learning curve to them.
They are definitely probably the hardest class in the game to play.
Yeah, especially coming from a barbarian.
Yeah.
Because, again, I know we spoke about Lilith first. Willow was prior to...
Yeah.
I'd say Willow was my next long-term character after Beloved.
Yes.
So it was a learning curve. Build S. So, her backstory. Now... This was the first campaign you DM'd.
Yes.
So you don't have a counterpart to Willow.
No.
And she was very much in your very capable hands.
Yes.
And her story ended up changing quite a lot, I would say.
Yeah, I think, a lot happened.
A lot happened. Yeah. But her basic story was, I say basic and I'm going to talk about about 20 minutes now. She was born into the Whisperwind clan, who are a clan of druids who lived in their grove in the forest. In
the Mysterian Forest.
They were very reclusive, as Furbolgs tend to be. They worshipped their deity, who is known as Eldath, but they called her Mother Guardian.
Yeah.
They were very religious, very reclusive. And the Whisperwind clan were kind of like the elders of the clan. They were the people in charge.
Yeah.
Basically.
You belong to the head of the Furbolgs in the forest.
Exactly. And because Furbolgs have longer lifespans, the leadership tended to skip a generation.
Yes.
So Willow was actually next in line after her granny, who was called Primrose. And because of this, because Willow was next in line, she was kind of treated like this, like, precious... like sacred object.
She was guarded.
She was very, very guarded.
She had a very sheltered upbringing.
Very, very sheltered life. And Willow herself compared it to being like a bird stuck in a cage.
Yeah.
Like, she felt very suffocated by all of it. She knew that there was going to be things she had to live up to. She had a grandma to live up to. She saw her mum living like quite a free life because it skips a generation.
Yeah, because she wasn't part of it.
And I think Willow she was a very naive, childish, a very foolish character, like very sweet.
She didn't have the life experience.
Yeah, she had no life experience. And she was quite jovial, and the life she was living wasn't. It was very routine, very strict. She wasn't allowed even out of like the confines of her home, let alone really like the grove. Never heard of it. And the more she learnt about the outside world, the more she wanted to see it.
Yeah.
She always had like an affinity to the snow. She wanted to see the other animals she read about in books. And one day she just left. She just did it. She had enough. She felt like the path she was on wasn't her path. And something had to change. So she just left, and she begged her deity, Mother Guardian. She said, if you love me, you'll take care of me, you'll let me experience the world, and I will only come back after I've done what I want to do and live for me. And
she did.
She did. She left.
She left.
And that naivety of being out in the world after being... stuck there for she was 200, which only made her
she was
20.
She was 112.
Yeah. She was the equivalent of 2021.
Yeah, she wasn't very old.
Yeah, but she was still young. And she was very naive. She was very sweet, very caring.
Yeah,
she was stubborn.
Yeah.
She put her foot in her mouth quite a lot. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She spoke out of turn.
Yeah, and if I had to describe her in alignment, she would be true chaotic good.
She was chaotic good.
She was absolutely chaotic good.
True chaotic good.
Totally. So that was her backstory, and it changed a lot.
Yeah, it's tough to, I think it's tough to try and rate the backstory without knowing what happened.
Yeah, I agree.
like if I think about the backstory, I'm like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and this happened, and this is where it ended up.
Yeah, and I'm
tough.
naturally biased to characters that we've spent more time with.
Of course, like naturally.
Yeah, so I'm naturally biased towards Willow. Now, Willow, I always said Willow was always going to be my favorite character.
Yeah,
I was really worried after finishing that campaign. I'm sure you guys have felt it when you finish a campaign and you have to say goodbye to that character. For me, it's really, really hard.
It was
and
tough.
I really struggled to say bye to Willow because she changed so much. She grew so much.
She did, yeah.
And she learned a lot about herself. So I'm biased to her.
What do you think of the story?
Now, once again, I have to detach myself from it. The backstory that I had before you got your hands on it and changed it and everything transpired.
Yeah.
I would actually say the story is like a C-tier story.
Really?
Yeah, it's very like...
I think the thing is with this, though, you wrote it for me.
I did.
You were like, I don't want to put too much in there because I want you to... You basically said, I don't want to know what happens.
I want you to
do it for me.
Which, you were obviously happy to do.
Yeah.
Like, Willow was the first character that I properly understood what I was doing with D&D.
Yeah.
I understood what I liked out of it. I understand what I didn't like. It was your first time DMing. And, you said, I said, I love the mystery. And you said, let me do it for you.
Yeah.
So I did leave it very open-ended intentionally. So maybe that's why it seems a bit bland on the beginning.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have quite as much to it as maybe Lilith's had.
Yeah, because Lilith's was kind of like the finished article there.
Yeah, it was like a story already written.
Yeah, where Willow's was very much a story beginning.
Yeah, it was at the beginning.
She had just left.
Yeah.
So I would say, the whole, she's like an important person.
Yeah,
who's been kept locked up and then she leaves. Mm-hmm. I'd say that's like a C-tier story, right? That's just a very run-of-the-mill story.
So the build was S.
Yep.
The story was C.
Yeah, I would say how the story ended up was S, but that's not what we're rating on.
No.
That's not what we're rating on.
That's not what we're rating on.
Yeah.
So the looks.
Yep. Back up to S.
I think she's...
Totally back up to S.
I think she is... With the little golden line.
Yeah. So if you can see it, I mentioned earlier, her official name in the clan was the Golden One because that is what the Archdruid of the Grove became.
Yeah.
And she had little golden tipped fingers and she had a golden line down her chin. And look, she's got big fluffy ears.
She's got big fluffy ears.
She's got big floppy ears.
She's so cute.
And she's got a little nose.
She's got white hair. And she's very cute.
She's got loads of flowers in her hair and the flowers would cycle out.
Very cute. With the changing of the weather.
Yeah, they would cycle out.
Oh, it's so cute.
She was just...
I think she's probably one of my favourite characters.
Totally, I totally agree.
Of the look.
100%.
So S tier.
Yep.
Build. S tier look.
Yep.
C tier story.
Yep.
A?
She's probably an A.
She falls in A.
Let's be honest.
I think she falls in front of both of mine. I think she's that good.
I would say the story definitely is eclipsed by your two stories. Definitely. Like just for like a concept.
Yeah, okay.
But the class was very strong.
Yeah, really strong.
And she's just my girl.
She's just a girl.
She's just my girl.
She was a great character.
Oh man.
I will always love Willow. I think she was amazing.
Me too. And she holds a special place in my heart because again, it was the first campaign that you DM'd. And I think it's fair to say that you shocked everyone with how much of an incredible DM you were from the get-go. Like,
okay.
No, it's true because you'd only played in the one campaign with Nephmeros, and then you'd played briefly in another one which we completely forgot the characters for.
We'll put it in the end.
And you deciding to DM was like a split decision moment. You were just like,
Yeah, I wanted more D&D, but I wasn't getting the D&D that I wanted, so I was like, I'll just do it then. You did.
And all of us came away from that first session like enthralled. We were excited. We were surprised. We were surprised at your capability from the beginning. So she holds a special place in my heart. And
yeah, I think she holds a special place in my heart as well.
We worked really closely with her. And the group we had with 3 people, we were all close. Like the characters were really close. Yeah. Willow ended up getting married to one of them.
Yeah.
So She's just a special
girl. I think
girl.
she's a great character.
She's a special girl, and I love her dearly. So, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, to be honest. So, this brings us on to... Obviously, Jack didn't have a counterpart.
I didn't have a character in that campaign.
Yeah,
sadly.
Yeah. So, on to your next one.
Yes. Bark.
So I was going to say, do you know who it is?
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah.
It's Bark.
Go on, what was his last name?
Deep Mark.
Yeah. Bark, Deep Mark.
Also a Rune Knight. Also a Rune Knight fighter.
Yep. We like what we like.
We do. And this was because I started with Brannum and then we didn't get to finish, so I still really wanted to play
Brannum
Rune
had
Knight.
one session, you know what I mean?
So, I played far more with Bark. So build his S tier.
Obviously.
Do you want to know what?
He was a full orc.
He was a half orc.
He was a half orc.
If I could put the build, do you want to know what? I should have put Brannum's build in A because Bark's build is actually better.
Totally.
Because he's a Rune Knight fighter, just like Brannum is,
Yep.
but he's a half orc, and half orcs have some of the best racials in the game.
Yeah.
They get plus 2 to strength. Mm-hmm. I think it's plus 2 to strength, plus 1 to con.
They have the bouncing back thing.
They have orcish endurance.
Yep.
And they also have what's the other thing?
I have no idea.
Basically, when you hit 0 hit points, you bounce back up to 1 hit point.
Yep.
That's the orcish endurance, and also they get savage crits.
Oh yes.
So when you crit, you get to roll an extra dice in there.
Yes.
So good.
Savage attacker.
No, that's the
feat.
That's the feat or the fight. It's not that. He gets to roll an extra damage dice, which is just so good.
Totally.
They're
totally.
Two amazing racials.
Yeah, that is a brilliant build. That's a really good build. That could potentially be the strongest build out of all of them.
Maybe.
I think that could potentially be the strongest build out of everyone so far on this sheet.
Yeah.
I can only think of one who's a stronger build.
I think
we know who that's going to be.
I think we know who that might be.
I think we know who that's going to be.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, strong in different ways though, because I do think that actually the Circular Shepherd Druid is stronger than the Rune Knight fighter.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. I think the Circular Shepherd Druid is one of the strongest classes in the game.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I meant like the strongest like match.
Oh, the synergy.
Well, no, even then though. Firbolg's Shepherd is
I think Willow is the strongest build.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, I think I agree.
I'm there right now.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Again, yeah.
There's someone else. Yeah.
So, Bark.
Yep. So S tier build.
Story. Okay, let me just remember this.
Yep.
It was very similar to Brannum's in the beginning because it was basically like my Brannum 2.0.
It was recycling Brannum, yeah, totally.
But it was slightly different. So his mum and dad in the military, that was the whole thing.
Yep.
High up, very sought after people.
Yeah.
He was following in the footsteps.
Yep.
That's where the similarities ended with Brannum.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
He was sent out on a mission.
Yep.
Like he became like the leader of his squad, and they'd been told to go out to one of the local forests where like a bunch of travelers had come.
Yeah.
And like pitched up in the forest near them.
Yeah.
And began to cause a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'll take the team out and we'll go out there now. He goes out and they're searching the houses, they're searching the camps and stuff like that. And they don't find anything. The travelers have left, but they've left like a couple of huts, like makeshift like shacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He finds a book.
Yeah.
And he opens the book. And when he opens the book, that was it.
Yes. You know what? I was struggling to remember what Bart's backstory was then as well.
You can't remember anything.
Yeah.
He wakes up months later.
Yeah.
Months later.
Yeah.
Like he was a jack dude. He was strong.
Yeah.
He was built. And he'd woken up like thin.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd woken up like ill.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been bedbound for ages.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And his mum and dad were like, oh, we're so happy that you're back and stuff like that. Obviously, it was far more emotional than that.
Yes, yeah. God to see your son.
It's good to see you, mate.
Are you winning, son?
So he wanted to get back into the field.
Yep.
And stuff, but he couldn't because he was too weak.
Yeah.
So as he was like building up his strength, they were like, well, what can you do? And they were like, you can. There's an opening in the blacksmith. Go there.
Yes.
Go there and like just be useful.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was like you need to be useful. You can't sit around and just be another mouth to feed. You need to be doing something. So he went there. He went to the blacksmith. Every night when he went to sleep, he kept seeing these things that he saw in the book.
Yeah.
He kept seeing the runes.
And was he aware that that's what he saw in the book?
He like saw the runes, and as soon as he saw the runes, that was it.
Right.
He was out.
Right.
And he'd never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
And every night he kept seeing it. And every night he kept seeing it. And like he was getting better at blacksmithing. He was loving it. And he was basically back to full strength. And he just kept seeing these runes and he couldn't get them out of his mind. And one day he was like, he was locking up the shop. He was locking up the blacksmith, and he did it. He put one of the runes onto his weapon, or his armor, and obviously he gained these crazy fucking powers.
Yeah.
So he dropped the whole thing, and he was like, "Something's going on with this.
Yeah,
I want to find the people who were in the forest. Yep. I want to try and find like what the fuck's going on."
Yep.
So he went out to try and find them.
Yep.
And that's where the story began.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, worst backstory.
In your opinion, worst backstory?
Worst backstory.
Okay, what's your reasoning? Why? What's
I don't
your
really
reasoning?
like it.
Fair enough.
I don't think there was enough reason.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But you want to know what? I think I know why.
Why?
So, I'm a dungeon master.
Yes.
And I like to have full control over like story.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And this I left to somebody else, and like obviously we didn't explore a huge amount of it.
Yeah, it ended up being a short-lived campaign.
The fact that I didn't write the whole thing was what upset me.
Yeah, I get you. Is it because you left it so open?
I had to leave it open.
Yeah, and you left it in someone else's hands.
Because you done it with Willow, and I was like, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do it.
Yes.
And I tried it, fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Despised it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I think I left it open-ended, but I left it open-ended in a bad way, and I was sort of trying to cobble together how it was open-ended, and I don't think it worked.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And the thing is, I think there's loads of things that could have been done with that.
Oh, no, I think there was loads of things that could have been done.
Yeah.
But the story as it is there, I don't like.
Fair enough.
So it's a D-tier story.
Fair enough. You know what? So I was going to say, in terms of, me personally, Rune Knight Fire is not my vibe, right? Yeah. Not my thing, not my jam. However, I think that is a great way to incorporate it into a Rune Knight Fighter, right? Like, you saw this book, you touched it, you are out. I love that. I love the mystery of that. Yeah. I think that's really cool. But
I think that way that it ties into Rune Knight's Code, I don't know, I just don't really like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think currently it's
fair
in
enough.
B.
Yeah, because the thing is, we did get a world primer.
Do you want to know what I think? I think it's so bad. I think he's in C right now.
Fair enough. Well, we did get a world primer for this world.
Yeah,
and it was a lot to do with like houses and
it was part of like a military house.
Yeah. So maybe that forced your hand a bit. In
maybe. And this is like I've said it in a bunch of comments. This was the world primer. I've said like not enjoying the world that you were in.
Yeah,
is tough. And I didn't actually really enjoy the world primer that we were given.
Yeah.
Just being totally honest. So I think it sort of left a sour taste in my mouth about this character.
The thing is, that's all down to preference. Like,
that is all down to preference.
It's not that it was a bad world primer, because it wasn't.
It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, totally.
But I'll tell you what.
Go on.
The thing about Bag I like the most is the way he looks.
Yeah, Bag looks. I'll put the picture back up here.
He's got the goggles.
Bag looks.
He's got the little toolbox.
Really cool.
I think he is actually my my next character is my favorite looking character.
Okay, yeah.
I think he is like the hammer was cool. It looked way cooler than that, like in the actual game. I think he's actually a really cool looking character. He looks cool. I
love the goggles.
Yeah.
There's something about the goggles. Love the goggles.
He always had like soot on his face because he was always blacksmithing and stuff like that. He was really cool. But I think the backstory is backstory is like the reason I play the game.
Yeah.
I think he's a C tier.
Fair enough. What would you rank his looks?
I think I would rank his looks in A.
Yeah.
But
have you had an S tier? Look, Hamilton's S tier. Hamilton's S tier, yeah, totally.
But I think the story, in my opinion, just was so bad.
Fair enough.
It's I love writing stories.
Yeah.
And he was my least favourite, which just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I think he's a C tier.
Totally. I don't think that. I think that's a really cool story. I think the idea that there was this book and you don't know who the people are. I think that leaves so much to be desired.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
did they just leave it there on purpose?
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking. I was like, could it be like this?
Like it's like a trap type situation.
Yeah.
No, totally. But again, that's a lot to put on your DM.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of trust to put in the DM. And again, if you have preconceived notions of where it's going to go.
Which I think I did.
Yeah,
and
I totally get
it wasn't
that.
going that way. And I think I just, do you want to know what? I think Bark was more of a lesson of what I like.
Absolutely.
I think if I'm ever going to be a player again, I need to say to my DM, this is my story.
Yeah.
And this is the sort of thing I would like.
Yeah, and that's what you did for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Back and see. Do you think he's below Ymir? He can't be below Ymir, right?
Do you not think?
Maybe that's me speaking bias because I don't really have.
To me, I think he's dead last out of all of these.
Fair enough.
Sadly.
Fair enough.
Who's next?
Next, we have Bark's counterpart.
Yeah.
We have Ray.
Yeah.
So, I would like to introduce you to Ray Crawthorne.
Ray Crawthorne,
formerly known as Ray Harlow.
Was that her full name?
That was her full name, Ray Harlow.
Nice.
So, this is Ray, same campaign as Bark. Her build, she is a Tabaxi. She is a rogue warlock multi-class.
Yeah.
And she is a swashbuckler hexblade.
Fucking so
S tier.
Couldn't be any fucking more powerful if it tried.
S tier build Tabaxi. You get the extra movement. You get the attack with the claws.
Yeah.
You get the feline agility where you can double your movement.
Yeah.
Man.
You get the dexterity and the charisma, isn't it?
Yes, dexterity and charisma.
Charisma.
Listen, the swashbuckler rogue.
Best rogue.
Being able to make an attack and be able to move away and not have to take an opportunity attack. That is S tier.
That's so good.
There's S tier. There was another.
And the thing is, Margaret likes to play like a charismatic character.
Love a character.
So it allows you, because obviously you get to add your charisma bonus to your initiative rolls.
Yeah.
Like it was just perfect for you.
And I was starting to learn with Ray that maybe spellcasting wasn't exactly right for me.
Yeah.
I had played Barbarian, I'd gone into Druid.
And Cleric.
And then I was starting to come back a bit into melee. But I didn't want a repeat of Beloved, because Beloved was very much a one-trick pony, right? She could open doors and that was it.
Yeah.
She couldn't see. She couldn't.
Shit.
Yeah, she couldn't think. She
couldn't brutalize things.
So, exactly. She was useless out of combat.
Yeah, which you hated.
Which I hated,
Yeah.
and I didn't want that again. So I was like, if I can take the rogue, everything melee I like about the rogue gets some magic.
Picking locks.
Yeah.
Sneaking around.
Yeah. Which, in the end didn't really end up being my vibe.
Yeah.
But the warlock being able to be the hexblade.
Then let you be charismatic.
Let me be charismatic.
All you ever want.
Yeah, all I want to do is talk to NPCs.
Yep.
Love talking to NPCs. Love having a chit chat.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So, without a shadow of a doubt, S tier build.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my favorite, but she's not my favorite.
Yeah, I think there's one better
There's
build.
one.
So
better
would you
build.
actually say that the build is A?
No, I would say the build is S.
Yeah, two things can be S.
Totally say that the build was S.
Yeah.
100%. So, on to Ray's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I want to preface that this was Back's counterpart in the same campaign. We got the world primer, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
We both should have at that point said, we're not into
We're
the
not
world
into
primer.
this world primer.
This is probably not going to be the campaign for us, but we didn't.
We didn't, because we were younger and
we were
naive.
And we were desperate to play D&D.
Yeah, it's
and,
true.
we wanted to play with our friends every week.
True.
So I was not into the world primer. It was a very modern, gangster, LA noir-esque
cyberpunky.
Yeah, which is cool. Very cool. Not the brand of D&D I like.
No.
But I didn't know that at the time. So there's kind of two halves to Ray's backstory.
Yes.
There is pre-Hexblade and there is post-Hexblade.
Yes.
So it's kind of a long one because I fit it around the world a lot.
Yeah.
And again, it was all about houses and guilds,
Yes.
which I just...
Not interested in.
Yeah,
I know.
So I forced myself...
Go.
We're getting into
Go.
it. So, she was born in the Scarlet Pits, which was the like the gross underbelly,
the
of the
dodgy
city.
underbelly of the city.
The whole campaign was based in one city. It was the underbelly. She was orphaned, then she was taken in by a friend until the age of 13. And she'd grown up in like violence and poverty, but she was happy.
Yeah.
At 13, someone from House Farlan, who were like one of the big players in the
top district.
layer.
There was like 3 districts.
Yeah. Every year they would come round and they would be like, you're coming to live with us.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray was chosen along with 5 other children to live amongst the Crawthorne family,
Yes.
who were the people who were the head of House Farlan.
Yes.
So House Farlan, stay with me, had rivals in House Thorani. And Farlan were trying to create the perfect person to be able to infiltrate Thorani and take them down from the inside.
Okay.
Ray and the 5 other children, her siblings essentially, were being experimented on to become these people.
Nice.
As she was growing up, she was trained in like charisma and being front of house.
Yeah.
She was trained in diplomacy, but she was also trained in deception and stealth.
Yeah,
The rogue.
That's how you got your proficiencies.
Totally.
Yeah.
But as well as that, she was being experimented on over the next 9 years of her life.
Yeah.
Throughout her experiments, she was given a dragon mark.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
there was dragon marks as well.
So dragon marks, from what we thought, were like very rare things that in the world before it rebuilt itself, dragons were a thing.
Yeah.
And you were blessed basically to have a dragon mark.
Yeah.
Dragons were kind of like
gods.
Yeah, basically, but there was no dragons left from what we knew.
No.
So it was rare to have a dragon mark, and they gave you extra benefits.
Yeah.
And she was given her dragon mark artificially.
Yes.
So this brings us into the post-Hexblade area.
Yes.
In one of the experiments that Farlan did on Ray, they merged the soul and consciousness of her patron into her. Hence the Hexblade. And she basically, it was something that was forced on her. She didn't want it. She didn't understand what was going on. There was suddenly a voice inside her head, and the consciousness of whoever the patron was in a different body.
Yeah.
So the whole point was, I was like, I love that at first they don't really know what's going on, but they have to work in synergy to understand how to sever the bond between them, basically, or live with each other. And I also left it very open-ended. Yeah. And we've said it before, with a warlock, you have to put a lot of faith in your DM.
You need a lot of faith in your DM to do that patron justice.
To make the patron
especially
justice.
Especially if you if it's a very intense connection where they're very involved.
Which in the end her patron was.
Yeah, because at the beginning I feel like you didn't know how involved they were going to be, which in my opinion isn't great.
Is a problem for
the
beginning.
You need to know how involved they're going to be.
I don't think any of us knew at the time.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think I knew that. I don't think the DM was aware of that.
Yeah.
Like, it was a learning experience for, I'm assuming, both of us.
Yes.
And I think Ray, I played her, because this was obviously all post-Hexblade. She was very arrogant.
Yeah, she was.
She was very arrogant, but that's because she was from House Farlan.
Yeah, she was, upper crust, technically. She was bottom crust, pretending to be upper crust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she ended up being the closest to evil I think I had in a character.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was the typical, she just wanted her adopted mum to give a fuck about her, and she didn't, and that's all she cared about.
All she cared about was getting acceptance from her adopted mother.
By Talia Crawthorne.
But she fucking did not.
She did not, which was the plan. So the story.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about where it ended up, because that's not really relevant. That is just not a story I would have written for myself ever.
No.
Like, reading it out there, it doesn't sound too bad.
I don't think it's a bad story, but I don't think it's very you.
It's not me at all.
At all.
At all. Like, I couldn't be less interested. And I said this in another video. Couldn't be less interested in the whole, like, houses and guilds. But, that's just me.
I know.
That's just how I play.
But this is a tier list made by you about your characters.
True.
So what would you rate the story?
I'd rate the story D.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Bottom. You know how you said Bark was bottom of the barrel? I think Rey's backstory was something I cobbled together trying to make it fit the world.
Yeah, it's the same with Bark.
That I wasn't very interested in.
Same with Bark.
And in the end, we all did a disservice to one another by doing that. So yeah, absolutely D tier, that story.
Okay. What about the appearance?
So, you look at her.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me she's anything but S tier.
She's 100% S tier.
She's 100% S tier. So she's a tabaxi, but she just had the cat ears and the tail.
She's more like the cat girls from Final Fantasy 14.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she was like a very like pale, lithe, like had like crimson lips and like catwing eyeliner. She was hot as fuck.
She was extremely hot.
So hot. And her outfit slayed. Everything slayed.
Yeah, she was pretty cool.
She was really cool. But again, does she really look any different to...
I think she does a little bit.
But I mean, you know, you think about a cat girl with ears who's a rogue.
I mean, true.
When you put it that way, does she stand out? You know what? She looks a lot like, and I can't remember her name, and I want to say it's Captain Avantika, but I know it's not.
Absolutely
I'm getting that completely.
Not Captain Avantika.
I'm getting that completely from Critical Role. You know in Treasure Island... The Admiral, the Captain, the Woman Cat.
No.
Very simple. That's pretty much what I based Rey on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know what she looks like.
Hot. She's hot. She's hot. She's a hot cat.
Okay. So she's S tier build, D tier story, S tier looks.
You know what? For me, I would say S tier. However, when I word it, she is a tabaxi cat girl rogue hexblade.
Okay.
Does she looks exactly how you'd think she'd look.
I mean,
doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit. But
so I would be willing.
She is hot.
She's so hot. She's so hot. I would be willing to put her in looks into top of B tier.
Okay. So she's S tier, D tier,
yeah,
B tier. So what is she? She's C or B?
She's C. She's top of C.
She's top of C.
She's top of C. And I begrudge that because I really don't like her backstory.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't like her backstory.
It's the same with Bark for me.
But I love her build.
I love her. I love Bark's build and I love the way it looks.
An amazing build. Love how she looks. Put her below Ymir.
Do you think?
Yeah, put her below Ymir. That's only fair, isn't it? Really?
I think she's above Ymir.
Do you think?
I think the build is just too good.
The build is too good. You're right.
Put her back up. Multi-class.
Put her back up. Oh no, she's in D. I like how we've not put anyone in D tier.
Oh no, I have to move them all down.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
There she goes.
So yeah. However, we did get to play. We did a one shot in between Jack's last full-time campaign and this one, where Matthew DM'd, and I basically got to play a version of Rey.
Yeah, you got to play a Hexblade Rogue multi-class.
I played Ronnie.
Yeah,
and he was exactly that.
Yes.
I would love to play that build long term in a campaign.
Well, maybe next campaign.
Maybe next campaign.
Okay.
So, this takes us on to your final character.
This takes us on to Jasper. Jasper Grawlish.
Jasper Grawlish. This is the one where I may not be able to hold back my tears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jasper hurts me. Jasper cuts me really deep.
I thought it was going to be Brannum that hurt you.
No, Jasper cuts me real deep. And to be fair, Jasper is the one that I DM'd for.
Yeah.
So I was the most involved with Jasper's backstory.
Jasper's is definitely the longest backstory, so just buckle in and just give me a minute.
This is a long video, but it always was going to be.
Always was going to be.
Yep.
So Jasper is a variant human.
Wow.
I surprised no one.
Oh my goodness. Wowie.
A variant human.
Yep.
Bladesinger wizard.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Go on, slap him up there.
In my opinion,
yep.
I think in terms of Gish characters, when you take in the Hexblade, when you take in the Swords Bard,
yep.
And you take in the Bladesinger.
Can you clarify what Gish means?
So it's spell and sword.
Right.
Can cast spells, but can also fight.
So
melee.
like Hexblade.
It's Hexblade.
Yeah. Okay.
So a Hexblade is a Gish.
Yeah.
And a Swords Bard is a Gish.
Okay.
Out of all of the Gishes, Hexblade included, I think the Bladesinger is best.
Oh, really?
I think it's even more powerful than the Hexblade.
Fair enough.
Because you can cast wizard spells.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you don't have the...
Also, slash stuff with melee.
You get all the spell slots.
You get buffs to your concentration checks. You get intelligence. You get intelligence buffs to your concentration checks.
Yeah.
I took resilient constitution, so I had proficiency in concentration saving throws, and then got to add my +4 or whatever it was at level 1. I was never going to lose concentration on the spell ever, unless I rolled a natural 1.
Never.
You get all of the great stuff of being a wizard and getting any spells that you want, but also being able to fight.
Yeah, you get the joy of being able to be up close and melee. Yeah,
so,
totally.
I think it is the best Gish, and I think it is. I love being able to do both.
Me too.
So, like, when I played that Hexblade, I just immediately fell in love with being able to fight with a sword and cast a spell. Yeah. So I think the Bladesinger is absolutely one of my favorite subclasses.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And he's a very human.
Yeah. I've shown you a picture. Jasper's up on the screen. You can
Jasper
see what
is an old
looks
man.
like. He's an old man.
Jasper is an old man.
He's an old boy.
So to get onto the backstory. Okay, so let me just I'll try and remember everything.
Yep.
Okay. He was just a normal guy.
Just a normal dude.
Jasper he grew up.
Yep.
Very lower middle class. Just in a snowy mountain area.
Basbane Hills. Or Basbane Slopes.
Basbane Slopes, sorry. His parents, his mother and his father worked in hospitality.
Yep.
And his mother got him a job as a house servant for one of the richer houses of the places. He went to work, he saved up some money, and he bought himself a house. That was always sort of his dream, to be able to look after himself.
Yeah.
He was spending his first few days in the house as he was further into the city, because he couldn't get himself a nice big house on the outside of the city because he didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
So as he was further in the city, he began to hear some music, and that he went out and he explored it, and he couldn't find it, and he searched for a while, and then he saw the dance hall in the middle of the city. He walked in, and there was dance classes on, and the person who was leading the dance class was his future wife. He went there every day trying to get her to dance with him. And she finally gave in, and she danced with him, and then they started to hang out, and then they ended up becoming husband and wife. He lived with her for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
One thing very big happened in his life is a number of very strange individuals came into town. And sort of as he was getting further and further on in his life, they came in a very particularly nice cart with very, very nice horses. They all had these nice blue coats. They didn't look like they were races that weren't from round here.
Yeah. They were very upper crust people.
They walked straight through the town, straight to the mayor's office, went into the mayor's office, came back out, drove the cart further up the hills, which nobody went because it was very, very dangerous.
Yep.
And then the next day, he saw a mansion.
Yep.
He saw a mansion on the side of the hills. So, he ended up retiring, and his wife died.
Yeah.
His wife died, and he was at a loss. He was at a point in his life where this should have been his retirement that he could spend with his wife, and he didn't get that. As soon as he retired, she basically died.
Yeah.
So he needed to keep himself busy in some way. So he tried to go back into hospitality.
Yeah.
But the place that he had worked, they'd got a new person, so he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't work there. And he was going around everywhere, trying to find a new job, just to keep himself busy, to keep his mind off, the death of his wife. There was nowhere. And then he looked up the hill and remembered that he saw that mansion.
Yeah.
He put his snowshoes on, and he trekked all the way up there.
Mm-hmm.
And he knocked on the door. And a very, very, very eccentric character answered the door.
Mm-hmm.
This house belonged to a group of... Imagine the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of young, super powerful wizards.
Yep.
And the house was a fucking mess.
Yeah. It was like a college house, essentially,
it was
wasn't it?
House.
Yeah.
It was like a frat house.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm here to offer my services as a housekeeper.
He was pretty much just look at the state you're living in.
Yeah, he was like,
you need me?
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, sure, start tomorrow. They had loads of money. They were
They
basically went out into the world and fixed magic problems and came back.
Think kind of Howl's Moving Castle-esque.
Yeah. So, like, he began to grow very close to all of these wizards.
Yeah, and they were all, like, younger. They were, like...
Yeah, they were yeah, you got to think Umbrella Academy.
Like, young adults.
Young adults. Yeah, maybe, like, 20 to 30 in that range. So he went up every day, and he did the jobs, and he began to go closer to them all. They asked him, instead of, like, walking up and down all the time, would he like to stay at the house?
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up moving in.
Yeah.
And one night they were all playing music, and he was like dancing and stuff like that, and he expressed his like want, because the travel was very, very arduous.
Especially for an old man. He was an old dude.
They began to teach him a few tricks.
Yeah.
So they began to teach him like a few like cantrips and first level spells.
Yeah.
And that's how he became a wizard. So they taught him how to like get up and down the hill very fast.
Yeah.
And he got to go back to the dance hall.
Yeah.
And he began to dance again, you know, because he did love dancing, even though it was something that he did with his wife. And so the story continues.
Sorry.
One morning, he was always up first. He'd always prepare everyone breakfast. And he knew that they all had a big job together the next day where they all had to go out together. He wakes up. He puts everyone's breakfast out. He sits down, he begins to read the newspaper, and he's eating his porridge. And he begins to see that nobody comes down. And he's like, well, that's fucking weird. He waits a little bit longer, and he finishes a little bit more of his porridge, and he's like, something's going on. So he goes up to all of the rooms, and none of them are there. He begins to panic, but he doesn't really know what to do. So he stays, and he stays, and he stays. Until one day he's like, something's not right. They should be back. They left too early. I don't know what's going on.
It was like the course of like a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So there was this. When I'm thinking of a backstory, I always think of a moment.
Man.
So the moment was, after all of that, Jasper is stood. He's put one of their coats on. He's got one of their blades. They all have hilts, just hilts where the magic sword comes out of. He gets the hilt and he stands at the door. And he looks out, and he's like, well, I need to do something. So he goes out into the world and pretends to be a blade singer to go and try and find out what's happened to all of these people that he's grown extremely fond of, and they all sort of now call him Grandad. And there was just this image of this very snowy house in a hill, and you look through the window to see all of the plates of that food just still out as this old man is just looking out, lost, not knowing what to do. And that was the image that I had of Jasper. So you got to think of that old man found a new family after he lost his, and he's lost this one, and he doesn't want to lose another. So he puts on this. So they were called the
Azure Hand.
They were called the Azure Hand. That's what the blue coats came from. So he puts on the coat, he picks up a hilt, and just goes out and pretends to be a wizard.
And his story really started with him having no fucking idea what he was doing.
He had very low level magic, and the thing is, we met the group, and the funny thing was,
he was the most magical.
I was the most magical, and they all called me they all called me Magic Jasper, and they were all like came to him for advice about magic. And he was just fucking making it up.
Yeah, he did,
because obviously the Azure Hand were like these.
They were known.
And
they
he was
more
well part of it. And he was a level 1 wizard.
Like there was 2 factions basically. Again, I'm saying all this because I DM'd it. Yeah. Oh God, I'm so upset. I think I've cried my eyelashes off.
Man, no, I haven't.
Oh jeez.
That to me. That's the best story.
I completely agree.
I just love that story so much.
I completely agree. And you know what? Even as I was DMing it, it would crack me when I was DMing it.
I just thought like story was so good. Just
it
was literally like the 0 to hero.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Old man caretaker, old man servant.
Yeah.
Like you thought it was very much like an Alfred to Batman's character.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
All he wanted to do was just take care of them and look after them, and then they just all went missing, and he didn't know why.
One thing you left out of your backstory was him and Genevieve, his wife. They tried for children, but they couldn't have them.
I fucking forgot this. Yeah.
He was fine with that. So when he met the Blade Singers, they were kind of like his kids.
Yeah, the kids that he could never have.
Yeah.
And
that messes me up, man.
Yeah,
that really messes me up.
It was because obviously medical whateverness wasn't at that point, and he couldn't they couldn't find out whether Jasper was the problem or Genevieve was the problem.
They lived in like it was like a newer continent. In the world. Man.
And they always wanted kids, but they couldn't, and they just came to peace with the fact that they couldn't. So like, these were probably the age of the kids that he would have had.
Yes,
because he was like 70 years old.
Had they had children, and fuck, Jesus Christ, like I said, I DM'd for Jasper, and there were my whole world focused around dreams a lot. And there was a dream where you had a dream that you were with Genevieve. God, it messed me up. I'm so upset.
So yeah,
I'm so upset. That's an S tier.
That, to my opinion, like, that's my favorite story.
But you left that very, very open.
That was open, but
could have done whatever. with that.
It was, but we'd spoken about like what I wanted from it.
Yeah, very much so. Much. I was gonna say, was that the difference between yours and Bark's? The fact that they were both left very open, but was it because you expressed kind of?
I told you like what I'd wanted from it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
and like I knew that you would do it good service.
Thank you.
And I do like to have an element of control, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. That's natural. That's fine. Yeah, of course.
I think Jasper is just fucking S tier.
Tissues in the chat, please.
Like, I just think he's so good.
I love
just
Jasper.
that. I just don't know. Just stood at the door. The wind's blowing. The door's open.
Stop it.
And
Stop.
I can't. This isn't for you. Closer he is. It's like he stood at the door with the hilt, and he's just looking at it like, "What am I about to do?"
Yeah.
And he looks back and he sees the table, and he sees like all of their coats still hung up with the hilts there. Like, they haven't got them and they haven't left. Something's gone wrong. As he just looks out and he's just like, I'm gonna have to give it a go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a go. And he did. But he was trying. God, I just love that backstory. I don't know why, I just do. If I, blow my own fucking trumpet for a second.
I love that backstory.
I think that's my favourite backstory.
Yeah, totally.
And I can't not. Like, look at him.
Well, here's his appearance.
Like, look at him. The blue coat, the whole thing was he was very smart. Like, he was just a smart old man. He just had, like, his shoes were always shined.
Yeah, and
he had a nice pair of cord trousers and a smart shirt and a mustache.
You tied in the whole, like, the way he was a wizard with the fact that, he knew some magic.
Because at that level.
Because, the people around him were like, you can't live like this.
Yeah.
And he'd spent a significant amount of time with them by this point.
Yeah, he'd spent a few. They'd like watch him walk up the hill every day.
Yeah, and be like,
and he'd get there and he'd be like. So they'd like, they tried to teach him a bit of magic to make it a bit
his
faster.
life easier,
But then they were like, why don't you just move in? And at that point they were so close.
Yeah.
And he did look at them like his family, like the children that he never had.
Yeah, totally. Man.
So I will be the first person to leave him up there.
I agree. I think Jasper is an all-round S tier.
I think he's an S tier character.
He's an S tier character. His build is great.
His build is great.
His backstory is...
Believe it or not,
Jasper
was the tank.
Jasper was the tank of the group.
So this was the
87-year-old Jasper.
This was the running joke. So all the spells that I took were like, I obviously took shield.
Yep.
When I went into Bladesong, I got a bonus to my AC.
Yeah, you took Resilient Con as well, which helped.
Yeah, but like my AC was like fucking 19 at level 1.
Yeah,
because it was absolute crazy.
You had no health.
I had no health. I rolled terrible for health. But
if you got hit, that was it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I would have a massive AC because I went into Bladesong.
Yeah.
I would have shield in case, something did get through my AC.
Yeah.
And then when I got the second level, I got mirror image.
Yes.
So then,
yes.
And then like as I went on, I would just take all of those things so you couldn't get hit. Like later on, I would take contingency. So it would like fucking polymorph me into like a dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
When I went below a certain amount of health.
Yeah, I think you had Jasper very figured out.
I knew exactly every level I could have told you the spells I was going to take.
You had Jasper. I feel like there is a correlation as well between, Jasper was the latest character you played. There's probably a correlation between, well... No, I get. You know what? No, I guess not. To be fair, there. But yeah, I feel like you put a lot of your soul into his backstory.
A lot of stuff in that to Jasper's backstory.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that he didn't get to live out his.
No, it's okay. He's there. Yeah. He's there. He's definitely there for another.
He's immortalized.
Yeah.
He's immortalized in my tears.
Yes.
Because I couldn't. You can imagine. You saw how upset I got there. Can you imagine? Can you imagine me trying to DM that? It was so hard.
Yeah.
And I actively cried. So leave him up there.
I'll leave him up there.
Leave our Jasper up there.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I've got like tears on my glasses. Okay. My eyelashes are hanging off. This brings us to the last character, and this is my most recent character.
This is the character that she's currently playing in our current campaign.
Yes. So I would like to reintroduce you to Reyla Moondancer.
Reyla Moondancer.
And there's some commissions, and there's some fan art here.
Ooh,
that has been done by Sephi and Philippa. So thank you very, very, very much. So, her build. She has the appearance of a drow, but she is custom lineage.
She is custom lineage.
So, Jack explained earlier, we basically go, you can look like this and you can kind of pick what your proficiencies are, etc., etc.
We just thought as long as like everyone gets a +2 and a +1, and you can just you get a few proficiencies from your class and stuff, and what you would get from your backstory, because or background, we just take that amount of proficiencies and just give them, and just say, you just put them where you want.
I just don't get the class features of drow.
Yeah.
But
you obviously do get a feat.
Strap yourselves in.
Yes.
Because this information coming up might be shocking to you.
What, are we talking about the build?
We're talking about the build.
What is she?
Are we all sat?
I am.
Are we all ready? She's a druid. I know. No, keep it together.
I nearly fell off my chair.
Keep it together, please. All of you, I'm begging you. Keep it together. Are you ready?
I don't think I can handle the next bit.
I don't know if you can.
Is it Shepherd?
No. Jack, our community, she's a moon druid. And there he goes. He's into the stratosphere. I'm sure you all are too. I'm sure you're all so shocked. I've never mentioned it.
I don't think you have.
Reveal.
The big reveal.
Reyla Moondancer.
Are you gonna put up the meme that Josh made?
Yeah.
Put the meme that Josh made right now.
Josh made this meme. He watched an episode.
He watches the podcast and he sees how much you all find it funny that Margaret calls herself a moon druid.
He sent this in the group chat. So
moon
druid. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. Yeah. So she is a drow circle of the moon druid, but she is also now 2 into barbarian as well.
Yes, she is.
Now
2 barbarian.
Can we count that? Because that wasn't what she was when she started.
Well, yeah, but that's not what.
True. No, yeah, true. Well, Ray was always that from the beginning.
She can't have been, because you were on level 1.
We started level 3?
Yeah. But that was the build.
Oh, yeah. Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that was the build. Go and put her in S. It's just we can look at her.
The fucking build is fucking...
The build.
The fucking build.
The build. The build is...
That is the strongest build.
That is 100%.
That's better than Rare.
Yes. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. She is.
That's potentially the tankiest build ever created.
She is the strongest build probably on that whole board.
She's thick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She can take a hit or two.
She can take a hit.
She's
thick as fuck.
Because she's Circle of the Moon, she can go into higher wild shapes sooner. She is the tank of the group. She soaks up all the hit points. She's always in...
She can rage, which halves those.
And she can rage now.
Yeah.
She can reckless attack now. She has danger sense. I'm probably going to go another in so I can get a third.
And she has the druid spell list.
Yep, and I've got the druid spell list.
Which is an amazing spell list.
I've got spells. I've got the melee. I've got the buffs of being the animal. Yeah. I've got the rage. I've got everything, baby.
I would say a lot of DMs fear the barbarian.
A lot of DMs cannot stand the barbarian.
A lot of DMs fear the barbarian.
I understand.
I understand.
Again, I've said this before when I talked about Reyla, because I don't talk about her often.
I don't think you said.
I don't think I ever brought her up before.
I think it's quite few and often.
Yeah, I have mentioned before.
Few and far between. Sorry.
Yeah, totally. That's what I would say. When I first wanted to multi-class into barbarian, I was very aware that it was an OP build. I was aware of that. So I made sure... I mean, I even asked you, I was like, are you all right with this? Yeah. And thankfully, Jack is. And Jack trusts me, and I trust Jack. And, the party trusts me. There's a huge level of trust between all of us. And I wouldn't be a dickhead about it.
Yeah.
Basically.
But also, where we were at in the campaign when you did it, you know, at the beginning you were like, I might. Everyone else couldn't try and get further away from the danger.
Yeah.
And Margaret is often left the only one.
Yeah, I'm once again the only melee up there, which, you know. So Reyla is a strange one because I made her at a point where I had been the barbarian, I had been the spellcaster, I had played Ray and Ronnie, who were the mix in between. I loved the druid. Obviously, I fucking loved the druid. I loved the melee. The further away I got from Beloved, I realised how much I did love her and how much I did love playing.
Every single time we play Divinity, World of Warcraft, the first thing you'd go to
is
was
a warrior or a barbarian, like the
barbarian.
upfront melee fighter.
You just love the... I think it's because, you know, like we said last time, Margaret can be a little bit...
scrappy.
A little bit scrappy.
A little
bit angry sometimes.
A little bit angry.
So I feel like you enjoy that sort of just...
The visceral being...
Smash.
Totally.
Smashy.
Totally. And it's simple. In a class that's complicated like the druid, it's simple. It means I don't have to worry about doing the right thing. I don't have to worry about all these spells. I can just go in and do what I want.
Go in, wild shape, rage, and fuck shit up.
So I think Reyla is like the epiphany of...
The epitome.
No, like my epiphany. She's like my epiphany.
Right, I thought you were being
also,
the epitome.
Also the epitome.
Sorry.
And that was fine. She's like the epiphany of, I like the mix.
Yeah.
I like the mix of the two.
Yeah.
I
think you quite liked multiclass.
I do. I think I do. Which
I think it gives you, because you multiclassed.
I multiclassed with Beloved in the end.
You multiclassed with Beloved.
I multiclassed with Ray and Ronnie.
With Ray and Ronnie, and you multiclass now. I think you love the idea of... Margaret is your quintessential power gamer.
I am. No, I am.
She
totally.
Fucking loves to have a powerful build.
I love
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
There's nothing. I am the same.
People would totally... People totally would
but if you're not right for that table, fair enough. But like Jasper, I know he didn't multiclass, but he probably would have multiclassed in the fighter further down the line.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he was going to be nigh on impossible to hit.
True.
And that would have, frustrated most DMs. But, if he did get hit, it was probably game over because he had 0 health.
Yeah.
But, we like to build the builds like that.
Yeah, totally. I like to be powerful. I've said it before. I like to be powerful. I like to be able to contribute. I feel the worst when I can't contribute.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like that's very common for a group game. If you're feeling like you're bringing the least to the table, it feels bad.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling. And I had that feeling with Beloved. Yes, I was the strongest. Yes, I was the tank, but I couldn't do anything else. With Willow, I kept everyone alive. I healed for the majority. Couldn't really do anything else.
But she did end up being able to summon loads of stuff.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And
I think Reyla was the epiphany of I like the mix. Sorry, really gone on about Reyla here, but naturally because she's the character I'm playing now.
Yeah.
So build fucking S tier.
That is, I'm gonna have to put her in front of Jasper because I think she is the strongest.
She is without a doubt the strongest on that. She is the
strongest build.
Totally, without a doubt.
Everyone.
100%.
And it's awesome.
So her backstory. Now, I don't think there's going to be any spoilers for people in our party. I don't think there's going to be any spoilers for them now because I feel like the majority of her backstories come out.
No, I think it's come out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all come out, and you guys won't mind. There potentially could be. Anyway, so Reyla was born into a family of druids that belonged to something called the Night Watch. Before I even get into that, she is built solely off your world.
Yes.
The whole existence of Reyla comes from your world. The world Premier gave us, the gods, everything.
All of it.
All of it. So she was born into a family of druids that belonged to the Night Watch. And the Night Watch protect the world tree, Yggdrasil, and they live...
At night?
At night.
That's the point.
Yeah, at night.
They were the Night Watch.
They're the Night Watch. And with Yggdrasil, there's 2 layers to the forest, basically. Yggdrasil sits in the inner circle, and then...
The pool surrounding it?
Yep. And then there's the outer circle, which is what Reyla's family lived in and therefore protected. So her family were really well regarded. They're kind of the people who train the Night Watch. all druids, and her sister Tova, it became such a good member of the Night Watch. She was accepted into the inner circle.
She was selected.
And she became a night warrior.
Yeah, she was the night warrior of the inner circle.
Yeah, so she's become a night warrior. And all her life, Reyla, Tova's her older sister, Reyla has always looked up to her, always wanted to be like Tova. She wanted to be a night warrior. She wanted to join her. She wanted to make her family proud.
Was all she ever wanted.
Her whole family is based around honor and protecting the world tree and doing right by your clan.
That's the reason you live in their eyes.
And that's all she wanted.
Protect the world tree.
So everyone in the Night Watch are moon druids. So all moon druids, they reach a certain age and they have to partake in something called the Midnight Trial.
So, just to clarify.
Yes.
Not all of them are moon druids.
No.
All of them are druids.
Sorry, yes. All of them are druids.
All of the people in the Night Watch were the moon druids.
Yes. Everyone just selectively just in the Night Watch, because there was also like the Dawn Break or whatever.
Yeah.
Who were also druids.
But different types.
Different types who patrolled in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And all the moon druids need to partake in something called the Midnight Trial. Basically, under a full moon, you shift into animal form for the first time, and you need to learn. You need to be able to claw back to that piece of humanity that is left in you. And as long as you can successfully shift under the full moon, because the full moon holds a lot of power, and you can come back into a human state, you come back, you're fine.
You pass the trial.
You've passed the trial.
So it's all about, you go out, like when you reach a certain age and a certain training, you get to the point where the next full moon, and you were at that point.
I was at that point.
They sent you out, and they sent a bunch of other people out.
Yep, I went out with like a group of like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And we all shifted. Mm-hmm. And everyone came back, apart from me.
So not everyone came back.
Yeah, and also if you can't harness that humanity left in you, you basically succumb to it. You succumb to your instincts and you just become an animal.
You are an animal.
You exist the rest of your life as an animal.
You can't turn back.
No turning back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of all about the battle between... You would live a happier, more pleasurable life, probably, as this animal.
Yeah.
It's instincts.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're feeling your instincts and you're feeling like the earth beneath your feet and the fucking sky above you to want to come back. Mm-hmm. It's like you release all of your inhibitions, right? It's like that song. And
feel the rain on your skin. Gonna get fucking demonetized.
Exactly, yeah. That kid in the car.
So yeah,
Sorry.
it's like me and Margaret very much wanted to lean into like the
primal aspect of it.
You know, everyone's just like, oh yeah, I shift into a wild shape. We wanted that to be the
crux
point
of it. That's the
whole
whole
point
crux
of the story.
So the majority came back. Some didn't.
Some just turned and couldn't turn back.
And it happens. That's quite a regular thing. Reyla did come back, but she came back late.
She came back very late.
And again, you know how you said you pictured like Jasper standing there? I picture over the course of like midnight hits, all the families are out there.
All the families are there.
They're all waiting at like the forest edge. People come back, some don't. And, you know, as it becomes early morning, people are starting to go back to bed. And I have this image of everyone has gone. And it's just
your
Reyla's...
Mum, your dad.
Yeah, and Tova. And there's a moment where Reyla's mum just puts her hand on Tova's shoulder and just says, she's not coming back.
No.
And her and her dad go in, but Tova stays.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not giving up.
Yeah, Tova waits for her. And eventually Reyla comes back.
Reyla does turn up.
She's late.
There
is very strict rules.
In the eyes of the like authorities there, is a failure.
Yeah, so there's someone who runs it. Her name is Revna.
Yeah.
She's like the head of it. There's very strict rules for good reason.
Yeah.
Like if you can't control yourself, then you're not fit to be.
You're seen as a danger.
Yeah, totally, which she is. She comes back. She can't remember anything that happened.
Yeah.
She has like brought disgrace on her family. She's ashamed of herself. Her sister, because she's a night warrior, she's in the inner circle.
She's regarded as probably one of the best warriors.
She is. She's one of the most powerful warriors they have. She manages somehow to convince Revna to give Reyla a second chance. And from that point, Reyla's just... She always lived in her sister's shadow, but even more so.
Yeah.
And Reyla was just ashamed of herself. She felt like, sorry, I'm really going into this.
Oh, fucking serve it up. That's what people are here for.
Yeah, she really battled with a lot of like terrible, awful, negative feelings, and the only reason she was allowed to stay was because of her sister. Because of Tova.
Tova had sway.
She's continuously living in Tova's shadow.
Yeah.
So, time goes on, not too much, and then the Fimbulwinter happens.
Yeah. So the persistent winter.
And in Jack's world, when the Fimbulwinter happens, everyone knows Ragnarok is going to happen.
Yeah, that's like Norse law. Yeah. Everyone knows that the thing that follows the Fimbulwinter is Ragnarok.
And everyone knew this. And Ragnarok is the end of the world, basically. Yeah. So the Moon Druids all worship Skull. He is a big giant wolf in the sky who he chases the sun away to bring the moon. And then the Dawn Druids, they worship Hati, who
you as a druid of the inner circle, the circles of Yggdrasil, you worship both, but you know the whole point is the moon is brought, which allows us to do our job, which is why you were have more of an affinity with Skull. With Skull,
with Skull, yes. So when the Fimbulwinter happened, everyone knew it was going to be Ragnarok. Our job was to protect the World Tree. Every single realm in this world hangs off of the World Tree like a fruit.
Hangs off a branch, like a fruit.
Like a fruit. So we currently live in Midgard. The Druids were like, well, Midgard's coming to an end. That doesn't mean that everything else is coming to an end.
Yeah.
We all turned to our gods and we said, please take us away. Give us refuge while Ragnarok happens. We will forever be in your debt. We will follow you anywhere you go. And we will protect the World Tree from another realm.
Yeah, we can, just because this world is fucked doesn't mean all the other worlds
are. Exactly. Or at least they hoped.
Let us protect the World Tree in a different realm.
So they basically begged their god and said, please give us refuge. Take us somewhere else. We'll follow you. And the gods agreed. So the night comes and everyone went to sleep. There was a ritual. They had to put themselves in kind of like a catatonic state to be able to...
They had to hibernate.
Yeah, we had to ascend, basically. We all did it. We all got taken. Apart from Reyla. Reyla wakes up. She is the only person left. Not even just in the Night Watch. She is the only person left in the forest. The Dawnbreakers are gone. The Night Watch are gone. The Night Warriors are gone. They're all gone. And it's just Reyla. And she's already fighting all these feelings of inadequacy. She kind of has it in her head that she is just a fucking animal. There's nothing more to her than that. She tries desperately to put herself back in that catatonic state, but has no idea how to do it. And she basically ends up knocking herself out for 6 months.
Yeah.
She wakes up 6 months later. It's the same. She tries to hold her ground.
The Fimbulwinter's over.
Yeah, it's gone. Fimbulwinter's gone. The world is more lush and more
abundant. But the
abundant.
world hasn't ended.
Yeah, and no one's there. So she holds her ground. She tries to stay. And in the end, she just gives up. She quite simply gives up. And she leaves. She gives up everything she thought she ever was. She gave up the idea of seeing her family again.
Yeah.
She gave up the idea of her god. She felt abandoned. She felt betrayed. She felt like she deserved it, but it still hurt. And she left.
And that's where the campaign began?
She had just left.
See, to me, that's the best story you've written.
I'm with you. I totally agree.
That's 100% the best story.
Totally. And I think the reason it's the best story I've written is because you were so involved in it.
Yeah.
You're the DM, and I trust you implicitly. I loved your world. I'm very into everything in that, right? I'm super into the World Tree, and I'm into the idea of Ragnarok. And I'm into the idea of honor and all of that. And Big Wolf in Sky.
Big Wolf in Sky. What more can you want?
Big Wolf in Sky.
Big Wolf in Sky.
So I think the combination of having a great world primer, really caring about the world, having your hand in it, because you helped me a lot.
I don't think I helped you. I think we did that thing that we did in when we rolled those characters. You came to me and I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. Imagine if it was like this. And then you were like, oh, that's a great idea. What if I did this? And we just sat there for I think it was over a few days when we came up with the idea. I think she is like story where she's 100% the best character.
I'm with you. Yeah,
like,
I'm with you. I'm so into the story. And it gave me enough to understand her.
Yeah.
It filled in enough so I understood. She has a lot of complex feelings.
She's a very complex character.
And
like the whole I don't know. I love the way that you leaned more into like the animalistic side of the druid.
Yeah, I wanted her to be.
She's a fucking animal.
And that's why I went barbarian.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted her to be different to Willow. Willow was your traditional nature bitch. Like, she loved nature.
Yeah.
That she was very sweet, and I love her for that. But Reyla is still a druid, but just in a different way.
Just in a different way.
I really resonate with Reyla as well. It's like the feelings of like shame and the feelings of not being good enough and living in someone else's shadow and having to deal with that inner conflict and being like, fuck, it would be so much easier right now just to fucking give up.
To just be the wolf and just give up.
Just to give up and just let all of it go. But for some reason she doesn't. And she doesn't understand why she can't.
She's beginning to understand.
She's beginning to understand. I feel like she's beginning to understand. Yeah, and
we've already had quite an emotional journey as well.
Totally.
A lot has happened.
And Reyla default abandoned. She was abandoned by her god.
Yeah.
Turns out that's simply not the case.
That was
obviously
not the case.
But
she had a fucking job to do. That's what she had to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I play Reyla. She has changed a lot. Of course she has.
Of course she has.
Like, she is actually quite comical. She has.
Yeah, she's quite funny.
Especially with Priestess, because she misses her sister.
Yeah.
She has a very sibling relationship. A typical sibling relationship with Priestess.
She's definitely still the younger sister though.
Definitely even still the younger sister.
Even with Priestess.
Tortures her.
Yeah.
Tortures her. And she tortured Tova.
Yeah.
And I play her. I've come away a little bit from the whole feral a little bit, because when she wild shapes, she would be fucking feral. She would go for it.
At the beginning, she was.
But the whole point is she's learning how to control herself. There's been a whole arc about her having to control, and she turned anyway. And she is very pig-headed. She's very rude. She's very blunt.
She's definitely the rudest character you've ever played.
I would say less so than Rey.
Rey was rude in a clever way.
Yeah, Reyla's pig-headed.
She's just like,
she doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Reyla just doesn't
That's
care.
probably because of the lack of society other than her family.
She doesn't care because she gave up everything.
Yeah.
She has lost everything she ever cared about.
Yeah.
She's lost her family. She's lost the world tree. Now she's doing that thing where she's having her rebellious teenage years.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to live under a strict regime, which she did. She doesn't have to live up to her sister. She's finding herself. She doesn't take any fucking shit.
She takes absolutely no shit.
She wants to get straight to the point, and that's that.
As fast as possible.
As fast as humans. She thinks you're lying to her.
Not happy.
Yeah.
She'll just tell you.
Yeah, she's going.
Line.
Yeah. She definitely leans more. I don't know what I would say her alignment is, but
I would say she is. She's probably chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I would say probably chaotic neutral.
If she had an alignment.
Yeah. So.
There you go.
What is her appearance? Look at her.
She's fucking cool, isn't she?
Thing is, there's two sides of Reyla. There's her drow form, and then there's her wolf form,
which is arguably even cooler.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So again,
there's also
something else.
There's also another form.
Which I still don't fully,
but you haven't
really
fully
know about.
Mastered yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, Reyla's appearance. Listen, okay, does she just look like a stereotypical drow? Maybe.
If
you think drow, yeah,
with
probably,
a moon on a forehead.
With a moon on a forehead. However, the moon on the forehead elevates it.
I think it does.
And because of the wild shape, and because of I know what's to come with a wild shape,
yeah,
I'm going to have to leave her an S.
She stays there, I think.
And she's hot. She's fucking hot.
She's super hot.
She's hot. She's hot.
She's also kind of cute.
I would also say I would say Reyla's pretty.
I think she's very pretty.
She's very pretty. She's a pretty girl.
Which is weird how elegant she looks.
Yeah, because she's not.
She's a wolf.
She's a wolf. She's a literal wolf. So yeah, she's staying in S tier.
Yeah.
She's staying in S tier.
I think she stays in S tier.
I think. Here, I'll put an actual proper graphic up.
There we go.
This is
This is
the actual finished tier list.
The finished tier list.
I think we saved the best till last there, didn't we?
I agree, yeah.
I feel like that's not a coincidence as well.
I think you as you learn the game more and you understand what you like more.
And, I said I would never connect with anyone like I connected with Willow.
And then you made...
And then Reyla happened. Yeah. And now I feel like I will never connect with anyone the same way I connected with Reyla.
But I think you will, as long as you sort of follow the things that you did.
Yeah.
You get the world primer. You think about your story. You don't just think about the story. You think about the person that you are being.
Yeah. And it's weird looking back on all of them and, writing out all the stuff for their backstories.
Yeah.
There is a piece of me in every single one of them.
Yeah.
But in different ways. And I was thinking about Willow. There isn't really a lot of me in Willow.
Yeah.
I feel like Willow is like the idealization of what I would like to be.
As a person.
She's like just a ray of fucking sunshine, isn't she? She's just a really kind, sweet, patient girl who's connected to nature. And I think she is like what I want to be.
Yeah.
All the others, they have bits of me in them and I can see them very clearly.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of me and a lot of mine.
Yeah.
Nephmeros, there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
There was a lot. Nephmeros was, I feel like, definitely the most akin.
Yeah. I think Jasper as well.
Yeah.
Jasper definitely feeds my... I have a problem with needing to please everyone around me.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like Jasper's sort of need to do that was very much for me. Mm-hmm. The others have bits as well. But
yeah, totally. And it's weird, isn't it, what your D&D characters really say about you?
Yeah, I think there is a lot to say about that.
Totally.
I think a lot of people don't realise that if you probably look at your story and who you play, there's probably quite a lot of you in there.
Yeah, totally. And, of course, you can still separate yourself from the character.
Yeah, of course you can.
Totally.
But, you can still there can still be parts of your personality and things that you've gone through in there.
Absolutely.
But separate yourself from them. Of course you can.
So looking at this, is there anything you would change? Is there anyone you would move around in this tier list?
No, I think I'm happy with mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually quite happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
I think I am.
Definitely. No one in D tier, which is nice.
Yeah. I don't think anything was that bad.
No.
If that would be if the story was shit, the build was shit, and
they were hideous to look at.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes, backstory wasn't great, but the build was so good, and he looked kind of cool.
Rey.
Yeah.
Her backstory is dog shit, but she looked amazing, and her build was amazing. Her build was so much fun. So
I think I think it would be tough to put something in D tier.
Yeah, I agree. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
You know what? This is a really long one.
The timer is nearly on 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's
been a lot of stops.
There's been some stops.
But
there is 2 characters that we haven't put in.
Yeah.
I don't think we have time to put them in.
I don't think we really have time to put them in
but
either.
Tell you what, we might bonus put them in somewhere else and tell you about them somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe in the next one we'll just give you a quick... Well, first of all, we're going to see if you guys liked this.
Yeah, and also we'd like to hear your opinions.
Yes, please.
Who is we want to know your favourite of mine and your favourite of Margaret's.
I will link this exact tier list.
Oh my God.
And if you care enough, you can rank them yourself as well.
Rank them. And how would they show us though?
Just take a screenshot and, I don't know, send it to us on Instagram or Twitter.
Oh, fuck yeah, do that. That would be sick.
Yeah, send it to Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, do that.
If you want to be anonymous, leave it in the submission form.
Fuck yeah, leave it in the submission form and say, I hate your dwarf or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I really, really hope you enjoyed this.
I enjoyed that. That was sick.
It was really nice to go down memory lane.
It was.
It was nice to hear about your character. It was nice to revisit them.
It was really nice. I really enjoyed that.
Was it nice for you as a forever DM?
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Nah, I think I need to make a character or something soon.
Yeah.
I'm missing it.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to get a chance after this campaign to probably play a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Matthew's going to do some stuff.
Yes, yeah. Matthew always does like a one-shot in there.
So I'm going to be able to... I just love character creation.
Totally.
And I just think it's so fun.
Yeah, I know, and you're great at it. So
thank you. So are you.
Thank you.
Let us know who your favorite was in the comments.
Please let us know who your favorite is. Let us know. Have him.
You rank them. You rank them in the comments if you want.
Please do.
Give us your top 3 or whatever.
Yep. If you want to, if any of them strikes chords with you and you want to take him, have him. You're more than welcome to him. Truly.
But yeah, comment down below with who is your favorite.
Yep.
Or give us your tier list.
Yes, please.
Like it if you liked it.
Yeah.
If you liked it enough, subscribe.
Oh.
Hit him with a subscribe.
Hit him with it.
And then hit the bell notification to be notified when we upload our videos on Monday and Thursday.
Yes. Well.
That was an epic.
That was a doozy. Wow.
Thank you very much for sticking. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much.
Totally.
And we will see you
in the next one.
Bye.